Vulcan Soapbox.
It's your show, Vulcan. Come on, man.
I'm here to stand on my soapbox and proclaim that to the world.
Freshly there.
Welcome to the Vulcan Soapbox. This is the podcast dedicated to the principles of logic, the rigors of sound reasoning, and the discipline of critical thinking. In each episode, we're going to explore not only the how, but the when, where, and why to use the tools of logic and reasoning, as well as how to identify and avoid the traps of fallacious thinking in everyday life. So whether you're just debating, decision-making, or trying to just cut through the noise of the world around you, we are here to help you sharpen your skills and challenge your perspective. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Now, without further delay, we are meeting the esteemed members of the panel. I am Freshly Snipes. Let's introduce down in the bottom right corner, Wicked Dream 187. Talk to the people.
What's going on, everyone? How y'all doing tonight, man? Just hoping to have a good conversation.
Fantastic. Welcome. Franco Whitehurst. What you got for us, man?
Good evening. I'm ready to talk.
Awesome. Uncle Tiger?
Yeah, just a random guy on the internet, hoping to have a fun, spirited conversation.
Z, the boss is here. Talk to the people. What you got?
Who?
It ain't gonna happen, big dog.
Zaddy right there. Good afternoon, everybody. The most peaceful man alive.
T Reason.
What up? It's T Reason, the one and only. Ready to get it cooking, ready to get it going. Let's get it cracking.
Yeah.
You're not reasoning it to a T. Don't even try to come at him.
Yeah, don't even try it.
My. I'm Dane from the Big Daddy Pod, and the most thrilling part about being back is my friend T Reason here. You know, I don't know what it was, but I woke up in the middle of the night a few nights ago just hollering, T Reason. I don't even understand it, but here we are.
Whoa. Boys, nightmare.
Here we are.
All right.
My name real
Last
quick.
but
Hold on.
certainly not least, the venerable host, Vulcan. Talk to the people.
What's good, people out there? I'm excited to do a show, man. It's been a little minute. We got to get back on it. The world needs some reason and some logic and a little bit of sensibility and patience. So we're going to do that today. Let's get to it.
All right, sir. On your mark.
So y'all, today's show, we're going to be covering two topics. One is the Chud situation, which is a big deal right now on the internet. Unfortunately, I only found out about it a couple of days ago. Shout out to Enos for letting me know. And then the other one, is a conversation between Cam Newton and David Banner, interview on Cam Newton's show. So we're going to be breaking that down as well. So first, we're starting off with the Chud situation. Enos, so we got the video ready. We can get into the video. It's going to explain a little bit for everybody that's familiar and somewhat unfamiliar with who Chud the Builder is, a little bit of the situation going on. We got this video right here for you. So everybody mute your mics. Let's get to it.
Builder. So Chud the Builder is an American kick streamer. Who is Chud the Builder? So Chud the Builder is an American kick streamer. I've yet to see a good person who streams on Kick, by the way. Now, Chud's whole shtick is to basically go up to people, normally black people, and use things like the N-word or various other slurs to get the reaction. And when they react in a way that you would expect a black person who was just called the N-word to react, Chud would either continue egging them on, go run and hide like the little guy that he is, or he would threaten them with the firearm that he would carry. I'm assuming it's the same one that he used for, recent events. Wonder how that's going to play out in court. Now, days before the shooting incident, Chud was actually arrested for a separate incident. Basically, he was in a restaurant being disruptive, of course. He was told that he couldn't stream in said restaurant, and the restaurant decided to involve police after he was refusing to pay his nearly $400 bill. He's also been kicked out of different places for being a general nuisance. Now, despite all of his flaws, Chud actually does have a big army of supporters that support all of his content, and they're normally constantly egging him on in the chat of his streams, trying to get him to do more and more extreme things. Who is Chud the Builder?
Okay, so that's a pretty good breakdown of Chud the Builder. And I don't know who's familiar with the situation that's happening currently, but we'll get into it here. So what I first want to do is open up to the panel to kind of share in 45 seconds or less just their overall thought of Chud the Builder and the situation. We'll start off with Wicked. So Wicked, just in 45 seconds or less, like, just give your perspective on Chud the Builder situation.
All right. So I don't know too much about him except for like what recently happened. Watched like a couple videos, and it just seems like he's more of antagonizing and trying to get a reaction instead of actually trying to solve a problem. I think he might have a good idea of what he wants to do, but it's not right at all, in my opinion. There's just the way he goes at it is just complete disrespect.
Got you. Okay, and T Reason, how about for yourself?
To me, he's a modern day fire starter. He's a big menace to society. I think what he represents and what he stands for is just all negative. I haven't really seen anything positive about any of the content that he puts out, and the angle that he takes is an extremist. I think his views are very skewed, and I think people like him and the people who follow his lead create more problems for everyone else, and it's just not something that's good overall.
Cool. All right, Tiger, what about for yourself? You're on mute, Tiger. You're back on mute again.
He's fighting with the mute button.
Like,
that's Dane's job, man.
Both
That's you.
All right. Well, anyway, so I certainly don't agree with the deliberately being provocative and saying, not so nice things to people to get a reaction. I think that's inappropriate. However, I think Chud is a microcosm of a greater issue, which I'm sure that we'll get into.
Okay, cool. Zaddy, what you got?
Can y'all hear me? I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. Hey, I believe what Wicked said. I rock with him, man. He's on point with what he said. Same thing Wicked said.
Okay. And then Franco.
I think the gentleman is just part of a group of people that make money off of this. That's why he went on that stream. It's just another way to make money. I think being a racist or doing like race baiting or something like that is economical in the climate we're in. People are going to watch good, bad, or indifferent. That's why I think he's making money. I don't know if he believes that stuff because he could have been doing it for years. The internet's been around for a while.
Got you. Okay. Dane, how about for yourself?
Man, I think that there are some philosophical underpinnings where he may have a reasonable point when it comes to freedom of speech, that sort of stuff. However, I think the guy by and large is a grifter. I think that he ain't doing nothing now in them orange overalls. I'm talking about his whole facial expression in his bond hearing was completely different than it was in the park, running around hollering the N-word at fellas and everything. So what he was doing, I think, is just a matter of getting likes and clicks and shares to get paid. That's my position.
And then Freshly, what you got? You're on mute, Fresh.
He's absolutely a grifter. So everyone has said that. I agree with them. I hate that he's a hustler. He's seen that work for other people, other streamers, and he's just co-opting that movement. I highly doubt he believes in that stuff. He's going about it what I consider the wrong way. And while I don't agree with how people are reacting to what he's doing, I do understand. I do understand.
Look, if I could just say this, it's a little bit off topic, but look, I'm the one who's supposed to be talking on mute every time somebody calls on me. That's my job on this podcast. So y'all need to step it up with the mute button and stuff, okay?
They stealing your stage, man. They stealing
Get off my stage, man. I'm the one supposed to start talking.
The young one. He's the old man. He's the one supposed to be making us, doing that.
I can't have nothing of my own.
If we could put the first question up. Okay, so the first question for the panel: does calling someone the N-word warrant physical retaliation? We're gonna first go off with a yes or no, going across the. Everybody's giving your yes or no answer first. Then we're gonna get into the merits of it. So start off with you, Wicked, first. Yes or no?
Would I say it warrants physical retaliation? No.
Franco, how about for yourself?
No.
Tiger.
No.
Zaddy.
No.
No. T Reason.
Well, I'm gonna probably be the eyeball on this one. First off, I need more context because I mean, does calling someone the N-word doesn't include details that would be necessary. But I think under certain conditions, I mean,
T Reason's up.
It could be
So
any
it could be
word
yes
that
or no?
could warrant that. You know, it just depends on the conditions. But
You're
I would
saying
say
you're saying there's a
I'm gonna be
context to
the
what you
I'm gonna
would
be
warrant
the
it.
affirmative, and I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. Cool. Dane, for yourself.
Man, we need to get man on the streets and then back on here, man, because sounds like all of us but T Reason are in agreement that no, I don't think it warrants physical retaliation, violence, anything like that.
And Freshly.
I think it does.
All right.
I think it
Okay.
does.
So, well, T Reason, you go ahead since you're the one with the naysayer. You're on the other side of it first. With T Reason, just go ahead and give a 30-second reason why you believe what you believe.
Well, I think anytime you're dealing with an altercation situation, people can respond based on what you say. You know what I mean? You gotta think about the consequences that come with what you say out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And there's a history behind this word. People have fought and died. People have been hung from trees. People have gone through a lot behind this word. So this word is a very powerful word. So when you use this word, use it under discretion that somebody may respond to how you decide to use the word. It's happened numerous times, and it's not going to stop happening just because people try to say, well, you know, I'm a big proponent of free speech, you know, so I can say whatever I want to say and nobody can tell me what I can and can't say. Well, that doesn't devoid you of the things that can happen in response to what you say. You could lose your job. You could lose your teeth. You could get shot. You know what I mean? So that's why I always say, you know, treat others accordingly, and then you won't have no problems.
All right, cool. That's 49 seconds. Yeah. So, Franco, you got anything you want to say to that? I know you had disagreement about that. It seemed like.
Well, no. I was saying that I don't think it warrants it. It's because usually this is, you know, I'm not a scientist, of course, but my own just life experience, live experience, most people that are saying the N-word or doing things, they usually say it when they're in a majority or when it's safer or they can express themselves because it's a little bit safer. When the people say it and suffer a consequence, they're usually drunk, out of pocket, not in their element. You know, they're a way where they can be dealt with because we know, or I don't want to speak for anybody, but most African Americans or blacks, whatever we want to say, people are doing it to us all day. We be fighting every day. We could schedule a fight. We have to start marking times. We beating people up or trying to fight or get an altercation because the word is said so much. So I think it's usually I would tell children or anyone else, no, it doesn't, because usually they're trying to provoke you or get you in a situation. So I'll just leave it alone because usually they're only doing it if they have the majority. Meaning like Chud isn't going to HBSU's doing this. He's in Nashville downtown in a predominantly area policed and white patrons are walking down the street where he feels comfortable doing it. He's not doing it. And nobody ever does none of this stuff in LA, in Watts and Compton, you know what I'm saying? That type thing. Houston.
Okay, Tiger, what about yourself?
Am I responding to what T Reason said, or am
you
I
can respond
responding
to T Reason? You could also respond to Franco as well.
Well, you know, I think, you know, I guess if I were to respond to T Reason, I think the sentiment that there's this magic word that all of a sudden justifies violence, I think that's precisely the issue. And I think if there wasn't this, you know, crazy, no, of course, let's not go around saying nasty things to people for no reason. But, you know, I think this sort of, you know, arbitrary, well, this word has a history and, you know, you could get shot, blah, blah, blah. I think that's precisely the issue. I think that's what Chud is trying to point out. See, so if we were to, you know, use any other, you know, nasty thing pointed at any other group of people, this you know, this wouldn't even be a controversy. So
okay.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead and respond to that.
So you wouldn't walk into a police station and say, I have a gun. You know what I'm saying? You just wouldn't. It wouldn't be smart to do that, right?
Well, that's not analogous, but yeah, I mean, of course.
So I mean, what I'm saying is, in certain situations, you don't say certain things. That's what I'm saying. So you got to be mindful.
And I already said
if you say there's a fire, people are gonna leave.
You're saying that this is a magic word, and when the magic word is said by the wrong person, then it's it's justified to
Well, no, I'm giving you examples of situations where you can say a word and there's consequences with saying that word. You don't walk into a building and say there's a fire, and then if we find out there was no fire, you're going to be held responsible.
You do realize that's also protected under freedom of speech, right? It's not illegal to yell fire in a theater or whatever.
No, but I'm saying if you pull a fire alarm, or if you say you have a gun on you, they may ask you to get down on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this real quick. We're going to go around, but I think there's a question of are there consequences for actions, which I think T Reason is eloquently spoken to, and then is it warranted? And I think that's what more Franco hit on earlier, and Tiger is hitting on. For T Reason, are you saying that it's warranted, or are you just saying that people have to understand there's consequences for poor behavior? You're on mute.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying, beware that. You can say whatever you want to say, but there's other things that may come with what you say. That's what I'm saying.
And then, so Zaddy, go ahead and get in there. What do you got to say about that?
I just think that it's a word that when you say it, it's saying I want war. So if you get a war, don't complain about it. Some people will walk away, some people won't. That's just it. You're saying that word, saying that I want war with you, knowing what this word has done, knowing what this word has meant. Yeah. So at that point, it's just, hey, you're allowed to say what you want to say. But
so you suggesting that it is warranted? Physical violence?
No. I don't think so. Look, I'm 6'4", 250. Listen, I know how to use my hands. Not many people try me like that, but I would say people have tried, and I just walk away. So no, it's not warranted.
Okay, and then Wicked, what about for yourself?
For me,
you can disagree with anybody. You can also share your thoughts as well.
I mean, for me, I don't think that it'd be warranted. I believe if you result of violence over a word, you're reacting off of emotions and you're letting emotions control yourself. And I don't believe that any word should be emotionally controlling over how you act. Obviously, there should be other ways to try to defuse the situation at first. Obviously, violence should always be the last resort, and you don't want to always resort to violence at first because there's always consequences, like you said, for your actions. The same action is like people who resort to violence because of something said to them because they're drunk, punch some guy, that guy falls, cracks his head open, dies, and now you're in jail for life because you let someone's word get to your emotions. So I believe reacting off an emotional reaction is over warranted for violence because your emotions are going to change. You could be mad at the second, but then you could actually have a conversation with the person, come to a completely different agreement or disagreement or whatever it is, and not even have to result to violence right away.
Got you. Freshly, what do you got to say?
So I'm gonna go here. The way the word has been weaponized, and historically it aligns with violence or impending violence. I think that it falls in the same category as bucking at somebody, or maybe even if you want to, brandish a weapon at somebody, whether or not you actually intend to harm that person or that person intends to harm you with a brandished weapon, I think is justified to react under the belief that there is impending violence coming my way and to preemptively defend myself. So again, it is just a word. It can be just a word, but historically, it is aligned with violence. So I'm gonna take it as if you bucking at me, and whether or not you actually put hands on me, I'm looking to defend myself to prevent you from putting hands on me.
See, I don't think that's analogous because if you're talking about a weapon can physically hurt you or violently kill you. A word, somebody says a word to you, can't physically harm you. A weapon can. So how are you going to annihilate the two?
Because again, weapons, even like I said, bucking, you can use that one. If I buck at somebody, that does not physically hurt you, but it is oftentimes followed by actual physical violence.
Yeah, but that's provoking. But you're
why would
provoking
I allow
violence.
myself? Why would I allow myself? If I foresee violence, why would I allow it to happen to me before?
Well, isn't the bucking?
So a word, the bucking is that's more of a physical. That's a physical threat.
It's just an indication.
But the bucking is a physical threat. That's a physical motion towards a physical threat. A word isn't a physical threat. So why would you respond to a non-physical threat with a physical threat?
Sure, but by the same logic that you're using, that bucking doesn't actually physically hurt you. It's just associated with physical violence.
Yeah,
the same way that the N-word has been historically associated.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's automatic. So bucking is only associated with physical violence when you're trying to physically bite. The N-word could just be to be derogatory or mean towards somebody, but not to be physically violent towards them. Not saying that you should be saying it or anything like that.
Plenty of people.
Yeah, but you're.
Hold on, real quick. Let's Zaddy has a point that we got to get Dane in as well. Zaddy,
y'all continue what you're saying. I just want to throw in a point that is there a word that my Caucasian brothers that can be hurled at them that can mean so much to them that has happened to them?
Not
that
me.
would make them. Yes, yeah, of course not you. But
so me personally,
exactly. There's
if
no
you say a
word that has been used against you guys.
Well, is that a question for them? Is that rhetorical or?
Well,
it's a question for them.
Okay. So you have whoever self-identifies as white.
Hold on, real quick before they start.
Well, Dane's not white. He's Scotch Irish.
Reiterate my original.
Boy, Dane, Scotch Irish.
That's right, man.
That word has been historically weaponized. So I just want to reiterate that point before they answer that question.
So is there a word
and I won't disagree with that part, as it is that word has only a derogatory meaning towards it.
Did everybody answer Zaddy's question?
He's doing it now. I was listening to you. He's doing it.
Yeah. So for Zaddy's question, me personally, I don't care what words you say. That means nothing to me. If you try to make a physical threat towards me, that's completely different than saying any words, because your words mean nothing to me. If your words mean something to me, that means you're emotionally controlling me, and you will never have emotional control over me. You know what I mean? That's never going to happen.
100%.
I don't know if you self-identify as white or not, or.
I think it's pretty apparent that I'm white, but yeah, no, there isn't a word that would entice me to respond with physical violence, and not to say that there aren't things that could be said towards me that are offensive. Of course there are. I've had plenty of people say offensive things to me, but it's not my first thought to like fly off the handle and go after them physically. I don't let, I think it's a feminine quality to let a word bother you so much that you think it's like, okay, I'm going to beat you up or kill you now, or unalive, pardon me.
Franco, go ahead, Franco.
I just want to add or say that I don't really think in the context of black people being offended by the N-word is a feminine thing, because it does have historic context. I can say that the word people shouldn't just be fighting and all that, and I can agree with you on that, but to put it in a category saying it's a feminine trait, because we have seen historical things, empirical evidence of the word and people saying certain things and the lynching. These are real, tangible things. And I do feel and agree with you that we shouldn't react in an emotional way when the word is said, because I go back to what I was trying to say. If we look just this is not scientific, but just based off of the internet, most time the N-word is said in these sayings, it's like said at like a basketball game, yelled by fans to a player on the field, said by a commentator. So it's just a word of their feelings coming out, being manifested, or being derogatory. I don't think they actually want to go down there and put their hands or fight people or do anything. I think they just want to be mean-spirited. So we can't just meet their bad language with violence. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like hitting a hammer, hitting a nail with a hammer type thing. You know what I'm saying? We're doing too much. We should enter maybe dialogue, go into a different angle with it, maybe bring up how it's offensive, but we shouldn't be fighting, because that's only going to help people who think of us in a negative way or think of us as violent. And that's going to build on that. Oh, we said this word, now they're trying to fight. See how ignorant they are? I think that plays in that. But back to my main thing, I don't think it's a feminine thing for people of color to get emotional about somebody saying the N-word. I think that's way different.
Yeah, I don't want to move past the feminine thing. I think we should stay there. I want to give Dane a chance to kind of address whatever he wants to address. You got like take a moment to address what you want to address, Dane, and then we're gonna go back to Tiger on his point, and then also Zaddy, make sure he cleared up his point.
Yeah. Well, I kind of stand with I forget whether it was Tiger or Wicked who used the feminine thing. What they mean is not that it's feminine in a sexual orientation type prissy flamboyant thing. What they mean is that hearing someone say something to you verbally, that causing an emotional response, and then that emotional response compelling someone to do something physical in response to that emotional feeling. That's what they mean by it's a feminine thing, because the feminine being the more emotionally controlled person and the masculine being the more stoic, more logical, more reasoned person. That's kind of what they mean by that, and that's kind of where I come down on the question of being responding to words like that. Someone could walk up to me, a man could walk up to me in public and call my wife and say, "Hey, your wife's a whore." That's gonna piss me off. But I'm not going to physically attack that person. I'm going to try to de-escalate. I'm going to figure this person is crazy. This person is trying to get a certain reaction out of me. And if I respond to that person in the way they expect, well, then I've surrendered control of my person to that person. Now they're controlling me. So to me, it's a much stronger thing for me to take the position that person is crazy, and a crazy person is not going to be in control of me. No one's going to be in control of me. So I'm going to respond in a way that's going to be the best for me, my wife, my family, and my future. And so I'm going to do that. That's the more stoic. Masculinity is stoic. Femininity is more emotional. So I'm going to take that track.
Do you think you made your point enough for Franco to be able to respond? I think he wants to respond to something you said.
Oh, you have to cut me off, Vulcan. You have to cut me off, because if you don't, I'll take over the whole show just blabbing on.
Blabbing and blabbing and blabbing. Yeah, you got to get
it. Don't matter if I made my point. Get on in here.
Yeah, I hope somebody supports me that's black feels the same way. I think that you have to tell me that you cannot have a white man cannot walk up to me and say something to me and it'd be like, "Hey man, you're an ugly son of a bee." That's gonna get a reaction out of me. And I may be upset about it. We're at a baseball game. But if you come up and call me the N-word, I think you're sending me a different message. You know what I'm trying to say? So I don't think you're trying to get the feminine or emotion. I know what the message is. I think the message you're trying to send me goes back to historical context. Like if you were above the age of 17 and you're saying the N-word, you know that you're trying to convey something to me other than just get me riled up. And I go back to what I'm trying to say in the context of when and where. Like you can, and it goes back to this, it makes it weird that you can offend me or say these words to me and my reaction now makes me get into a feminine lane. You know what I'm trying to say? If you were wanting to harm me or say that, you get to have the opportunity to say that, but if my reaction to it becomes make me feminine. But you're the one starting this conversation by using words to try and say stuff to me. Wouldn't that be you getting into the feminine lane with me? Because I'm saying if a man has a problem with me and he has a concern, he would just go man to man to address it and talk to me about it. So I think you're being very malicious and undermining me by calling me N-word, and then I react calling me feminine. I'm sorry.
You would agree. You and I would be in agreement about that. The man who walks up to you and says something to you because he wants to use an insult to try to harm you, that's the violence of women. It comes from their mouth. Shame, insult, guilt, character assassination, peer pressure, social scorn, ostracization from the group. That's the forms of violence for women because they can't be violent with these things. That's feminine. So when that guy walks up to you, like this Chud, I like to call him Chum the Builder. I don't know if y'all know what chum is, but it's like ground up animal entrails and pig and fish guts. Yeah, Chum the Builder. That's very feminine. He's walking up, bothering people, minding their own business, to use his mouth. He doesn't run up to them men on the park bench in the park and punch them in with a video camera, saying things that he knows is going to get an emotional rise out of him.
Well, let me ask this feminine. Is there any disagreement still out there before we move to the next question? Anybody have a disagreement?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the guys that say that. I just wanted to ask the guys that say that the N-word doesn't warrant a response. My question to you guys is, how long would you let someone stand in your face and call you profanities, call you, the B word?
Okay.
and you
If I
Well,
can
that would
respond,
all
I'm
that would
with
all
you.
go with intent.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so that's
I'm
what
with
I'm
you, T
saying.
Reason.
So there's a lot of context. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So when
I
we
agree.
the original question, I mean, if it's from another brother, they can say it to me all day, you know, and it's not gonna hit me the same. But at the same
But why
time,
is
how
that?
long am I gonna
Why?
sustain? Well,
Why is
because you
that
already,
though?
if I got to outline that for you, then say it to my face, and then I'll outline it then. But what I'm trying to say
But that's
is
not an answer.
certain. What I'm you're cutting my point off. My point is, how long are you going to sit and let someone say expletives, cuss words, profanity to your face before you respond? How long
Hold
are
on,
you going
hold
to
on
sit
real
there
quick.
Well, let me
That's
and
let me
let
literally
someone
wants them to
verbally
answer. Is that
attack you?
rhetorical? Or you want them to answer that question?
I want them to answer. I want to know how
Okay,
long
so
are
let's
you going to sit
and
someone and
everybody or
allow someone
just
to call you bees and
T Reason,
out of your name.
Is this a question for everybody or this a question for
Just the
just the
people who
white
say
gentleman?
that they shouldn't
T Reason,
respond.
you there? Can you hear me, T Reason?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay, is
saying
this
for
a
the
question for all the white guys, everybody, or just the white guys?
it's
Oh, why's
just
it
for
gotta
the
be white
guys
people?
who so it's just for the guys who say that shouldn't warrant a response of physical reaction.
Okay, so
I
that's
can give
pretty
my
much for
answer.
everybody except for you and Freshly then. Okay. So Wicked. And the question was, how long would you let somebody do that? That's the question.
So again, so me, I would say go with
Hold on,
intent.
real quick.
So
Wicked.
say
For the reason, are you wanting like a timeline? Like how long? Like how many minutes?
I mean, I would like to know how many
I
cuss
I
words they
have
can say. Like
so I have a very simple answer for you.
how many profanity words, how many different derogatory terms can they call you before you respond? Like how long
So
are you going to sit there and
So you
sustain that
respond
I
in
have a
violence?
very
verbal
simple.
assault?
Hold on quickly. So you're
It's
teasing how long
very
before they respond? But I want to make sure the question is clear so we have a clear target we're trying to hit. I don't want to waste time on it if it's not a clear target. So you're saying how many expletives or derogatory comments
I
will they
know
tolerate before
I
they
understand his
physically react?
question.
Is that what you're asking,
No,
T Reason?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. You
Okay,
got it.
okay. So Wicked,
yeah.
if you can go ahead, how many demeaning remarks will you tolerate from somebody before you physically react?
So again, I wouldn't say that there's a certain number. To me personally, like say if I'm a black guy and I'm walking by, right? Like this is me personally. Say or actually see me as a white dude. Say like, hey, cracker this, cracker that, whatever it is, slang that you want to say to a white dude. Me personally, if I wouldn't value your opinion about something personal, I don't care about what you have to say to me, so I would keep walking. But the minute you came into a threatening distance from me, that's when things change.
Okay, got you. Okay, and then Franco, how about for yourself?
Yeah, for me, like I said, I go back to what I'm saying. Usually, white people or people are saying the N word, or what, in my experience and my life experience, they're only doing that when they have a majority. They're not doing it amongst even 50-50 or they're in the minority. So usually I am not going to be at a bar at the honky tonk and somebody get four people in the back go, hey, the N-word's in here. I'm not gonna be like, oh, time for me to stand up for ancestors, because he's only doing that because he probably has like-minded people or other people around him. Now, if you catch the boy, because I've been in the Marine Corps and what I'm saying, I'm a Thundercat, I've been around the world. When it's 50-50 or it's a different thing, then things may change or whatever. But usually, in my experience, it's only said to me, or people only really racist or white people only really empowered when they have the majority. Like when school, I went to a predominantly white school, I heard it there. You know what I'm trying to say? And then we went to things where it was black school across town. Little jokes wasn't said as loud. You know what I'm trying to say? So I even look at news right now when people are saying it at the high school games. That's an example. It's only said when they're in comfortable areas, when they're the majority. They're not doing it in brave areas. Like I said, Chud is not doing this stuff in black areas or the black side of town. He's doing it in Nashville downtown near the courthouse. That's where the incident happened in court, where there's police around. That's all I want to say.
Okay, Tiger, how about for yourself? The question was just how many derogatory comments will you tolerate before you get physically violent?
Well, yeah, I would, if someone is deliberately being derogatory towards me, especially if like I can see they're like filming it or whatever, I'm just going to like exit the situation. I'm not with the whole use it. And I'm hearing sort of this double speak where it's like, well, if this group of person calls me that, I'm okay with it. But if that group of person calls me that, well, then that's an issue. And now, violence is on the table. And I think that's actually the overarching issue here. And I think, again, not defending Chud or anything that he does, but I think that is sort of the double standard that he was seeking to point out, however crass and rude and how much I disagree with the approach. That is the sentiment. So
Okay.
it's like, no, you can call me whatever you want. I'm not going to beat you up or kill you or unalive you.
Okay, and then
Sorry.
Dane, how about for yourself? You and Zaddy the last ones that took a different approach than Freshly and T-Reason on this one.
Well, I got, if I could, before I say, what I would say about myself, I think me and Franco are in agreement when it comes to that thing about the minority or only, because it always tripped me out when I get around like a group of like only white people and they go talk about black people and they'd want to use the N-word or other racial slurs, and stuff like that. And they were real free with it, when they thought they were in like-minded company. But if they were in public and they thought there might be a black person around, how they'd kind of whisper it. I kind of whisper it to you. So that is a fact, though. And I always felt like I could at least have a certain level of respect for someone who was out of the closet, like foaming at the mouth, racist bigot. At least they're out of the closet and they walking and talking who they are. I might think they're ignorant and I think they're wrong and that sort of stuff, but at least they're not a coward. But when I would hear people, they whisper the N-word or whatever, I'd be like, man,
real quickly,
it just
kind of. What's your thoughts for yourself?
My thoughts is, again, in my mind, now, if somebody catch me on the wrong day, maybe I didn't have a good breakfast that morning, it might be different because food's important to me, as you can tell looking at me. But other than that, my mindset is I don't want another man or anybody controlling my behavior. So if somebody walks up to me and they start rattling off these explicatives, like I said, they call my wife a whore or whatever, I might look over at him and say something harsh or rude or whatever to him. But, probably in that situation with my wife, I'd be throwing her over my shoulder because she'd be the little Tasmanian devil honey badger wanting to fight. But why? Because she's a woman. But, I'd be I'd say something to them, but I'd be trying to look for me somewhere else to go. However, and I said this in a text with Enos today. Said, but if that person is following me, and that's the problem with this Chum the Builder fool, if they're following me and I'm trying to de-escalate and get away and they're following me to continue badgering and harassing and cranking me up, now at that point, it would eventually take on a physical, dimension, but it's not just the words they're saying, it's that they're continuing to follow me. So they're escalating and I'm trying to de-escalate it. I'm a human. So I might, some people only understand one language and I'll speak that to them. But as far as him saying words to me and me just going off, it wouldn't happen.
Gotcha. All right, Zaddy, for yourself.
So I have a question for Dane, though.
First, the question real quick, if you don't mind just answering the question. T-Reason asked, how much verbal...
Oh, man, I told you, I said earlier, none. I'm good.
No matter how much somebody verbally does, you said that you would never do
good. As long as you don't touch me, we're good to go.
That's me.
I'm good. I'm not worried about it.
Okay, got you. Okay, so you had a question for Dane real quick?
Yeah, so I know that screaming and yelling is as you call feminine and all that stuff. And how much would it take for you to call someone a boy in like a angry way?
Oh, it wouldn't have to be an angry way, it would just depend on the situation. But I'm a human being. I mean, I have my limits, somebody have a standard, like I have a standard to be faithful to my wife for 3.5 decades. But if I get enough brandy in me and a fine enough woman and my wife been ticking me off, if I end up with a perfect storm, I can't tell you that I wouldn't have a weak moment. But, but I'm not saying that wouldn't happen.
Can I get a clarification on that real quick? Now, do you mean like you're calling somebody a little boy, or you mean like in the way like, hey, boy, come here, like that?
I mean, like, well, okay, so I'm going to get into the backstory of this. I don't know if Vulcan wants me to.
Well, we can get into the back. So I guess we can take like 5 minutes for this.
Okay, I just want to understand where people are coming from.
But Zaddy and Dane spoke on the phone a couple of days ago. And it got a little heated.
Well, can I say that I was completely respectful to the man? I told him.
Well, hold on. Everybody can get into their things, but I just want to give it. We'll do it timed. Zaddy, you can go first. Give your 30-second breakdown, and then we'll give Dane the same amount of time to respond until we run out of time here.
Yeah, no, it's mine is quick and simple. I was respectful to the man. I just was opposite of his points. And it was simple as potato salad, which is crazy. I don't think white people would put raisins in potato salad. Dang, come on now. But he got so mad at me when I just tried to point out the flaws in his viewpoints. And he was like, well, you don't get to wag your finger at me, boy. And I was like, and then he hung up. I was still trying to talk to him. I didn't yell at him. He was yelling at me, called me a sissy, called me everything under the sun. But I was like, yeah, hey, man. Like, again, I think he's pretty intelligent. Like, I seen him get on here and
34
murder some of
seconds.
y'all. I'm not going to name names. But anyways, yeah, I was just like, hey, man, hey, whoa, where'd that come from? So, I'm just trying to understand.
All right, so that's 45 seconds. Dan, you got 45 seconds to respond back to it.
Oh, I'm going to need 45 seconds. First of all, it'd be great if we were honest and we didn't lie about how respectful we were, but that's beside the point. Let me ask you a question, Uncle Tiger. Hang on. I didn't interrupt you.
Let him finish.
I didn't interrupt you. Thank you. Uncle Tiger. Uncle Tiger. You're Irish, right?
I've got some Irish ancestry, yeah.
27 seconds.
Is it possible to be any whiter than you are?
Probably not.
You're right. You're kind of like my wife. You're so white, you're almost transparent.
Yeah.
Have you and I in the last few weeks had some very heated argument, fights, slinging words back and forth?
Oh, yeah, for sure. No doubt. Yeah.
Would you say that I might have told you ain't wagging your finger at me, boy?
Yeah, and I didn't think you called me boy. That's I was just, that's just a figure of speech. So I was like, that didn't even cross my mind that you were being
the last spit slinging session we had. What did I do?
Sorry,
you're at a minute.
The
and
last
10, so I gotta
spit
give that
slinging
same time
session we had. What did I
Give him all
do?
the time he wants. Go ahead.
What did I do?
You told me off and you matched my energy. We were both being nasty and
Right.
Yeah.
And I stopped talking to him for a while.
Yeah.
I sure did.
Okay.
Stopped talking to him a while.
Hey,
hang on. I'm almost finished. My point is this.
My point
are
is
we
this.
Are we friends, Tiger? Are we friends, Tiger?
Let him finish his point, Zaddy.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes. Go ahead, 10 minutes.
So if I use the word, if I use the word boy on you, Zaddy, and I don't remember doing that or not because I couldn't hear myself over you because you would not be respectful enough to have an adult man to man back and forth. You kept talking over me. But if I did use the word boy for you, the only reason that you would take that racially is if you had a racial mind to begin with. And you would stop and think, well, maybe this is part of this man's vernacular. Maybe it's a part of this man's vernacular. So that's the point. But if I use that word, using that word is not inherently a racist word because you don't get to define my language.
It's because they're younger than him.
So
do I have 5 hours and 35 minutes?
I know, Franco, I know you want to get in. We got to give Zaddy a chance to respond to this, and then we'll open it up.
Again, we just said earlier that these guys.
You interrupted a little bit, so you got 2 minutes, Zaddy.
I don't need 2 minutes. I'm just going to say what I got to say. Uncle Tiger, I got you. I hear you. But at the same time, we said earlier, there's no word that can bother y'all because y'all have been in supremacy state. It's okay. But for him to get mad at me and say, don't wag your finger at me, boy. Come on now. You're right. Hey, and again, if we're going to be honest about things, where was I disrespectful to you? Dane? What was I disrespectful?
That's precisely Dane's point. He called you boy because you're younger than him, not because of like a racial.
How does he know I'm younger than him?
Hold on, Zaddy.
Come on, now, get out of here. You're right. Hey, yeah, I'm done. Whatever. You can't.
If you're going to engage with someone that you do not know.
Hold on, quick, Dane. Franco wants to get in real quick on something. Go ahead, Franco.
Yeah, my point real quick, and what I sensed from the two gentlemen is that there it does have. Okay, let me say it. I'll just be clean because it'd be easy for me. I feel that white people can live in a world where they don't have to deal with black people, meaning that black people are conditioned that we have to deal with white people, so we have to know how they move and how they operate, trying to understand what they think, and sometimes conform. And we have the funny thing about how we have our job voice and how we interact at home with our friends. And like you said, like we don't have a racial mind. You've given us a racial mind, meaning that you calling me a boy, it goes back to what I said before. You are smart enough and everybody's smart enough to know that that has negative connotations to. So why do you want to talk to me like that when you've had a history, empirical history of when you called me a boy before, you could take me out and put me on a tree. You know what I'm
I
trying to
didn't
say?
call
And
you a
that
boy. I
no,
didn't
no, no,
put
that's
you
not.
on a
I'm talking
tree.
about. That's not. That's not. Oh, sure. Let me. Yes. And everybody can. And that goes back to what I'm trying to say. If a it's kind of hard to explain because you guys are smart. I didn't have notes and I think it was going to go this way because I know I should have some empirical stuff for you. But what I'm saying is that white people can always say and break it all anecdotal. Oh, I'm not a part of this. I didn't do this, but they all benefit from the same system, and we have to be under that system where we can be in a situation where you could call me a boy, and if I react to it, now I'm being racial. But everything in our life is racial. You can live in a racial-free world where because you are the majority, you have
That's
all the
bull
things
crap.
made by your
Well, hold on,
no, the jobs,
That's
the
bull crap.
empirical. 90% of the stuff is owned by white. What does black people own?
Franco, we're gonna get back because that leads
Okay,
into the next
good.
question. So first, we're gonna do real quick, and I apologize. I know everybody wants to get into it. First, we got comments. Then after the comments, we're gonna go into the next question, which is speaking of what Franco's talking about here. You know, so the first comment we have here, it says from Miss Jones, it says having no emotional control has nothing to do with being feminine.
I agree with that.
Okay, Munoz is saying we are one race, the human race.
I agree with that too.
But
okay, okay,
can I respond to what? Can I respond to what these two guys said, Vulcan?
Well, yeah, we're gonna respond to that, but that's leading to this next question. So let's first get this other question up, Enos. And once with the new question, we'll be able to talk about it.
Dude, can I just say that was a bunch of women prattle and y'all could have settled that on the side by yourselves?
So yeah, we didn't
100%, 100% social posturing.
So real quick,
well, he
should
have hung up the phone then. Since y'all gonna talk, I'm gonna talk. He shouldn't answer. He shouldn't hung up the phone. We could have talked.
I told you that what I do when someone
be able to mute. So so yeah, so put the question back up, Enos, please. Does Chud and people like Chud represent a deeper problem within the white or black community? So that's kind of speaking of what Frank was talking about earlier and a little bit of what Zaddy was talking about. So let's go ahead and open it up for Dane to make his point. Go ahead, Dane. You're on mute, Dane.
He fighting with the mute button. He fighting.
Is my mute button is not muted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. My mute button went on. My point is that these two gentlemen, their response and their argument to me saying whatever I said to this other guy, if I said it, and I probably did, their response actually makes my argument. Because here they are with their panties in the wad over a word. There's some fat white guy from South Alabama said on the phone, and they got their panties in the wad about it. Okay, let's just grant.
Shut up and take it.
Let's just. Can I finish? Can I finish? Let's just grant that I did say the word boy. Okay, from my perspective, it was not meant in a racial way, but you can take it how you want it. So let's say I said it. And you're pissed. Let's say both of y'all are offended. Now what? Now what? Now what? But now what? Now what? This is taking up room in your mind.
Hold on,
that some stranger in Alabama you
absolutely not.
Y'all, hold on, Dane. I mean, you brought up some good points there now. So I want to give Franco, if you can, like in 20 seconds or less, address that, and then Zaddy afterwards.
Yeah, I just want to say, I don't think that the gentleman and I are hung up on it. I think we're trying to say in a way of that it's just offensive. And I feel like you keep trying to make it seem like by you saying it, and it's like, I don't know, we don't all, like, it's like this. We're not offended or taken up in the mind. We just rather that you be considerate of our feelings. And it seems like you don't want to be considerate. Like you want to be able to say whatever you want to say, do whatever you want to do, go about however you want to do. And if you want to do that, we instantly go back to that as in a mindset of people who will and they do anything and say anything to us, we'll end up being students like subcultures, and then what from there we could be what next? Enslaved, taking our rights away. It starts with verbalization. You start saying stuff to people, it goes action. Nobody starts out by just being derogatory you and then be positive towards you. Like if I can talk to you, treat you anyway, say anything to you, I'm probably gonna hit you. That's what's next. That's what follows, not
got you.
hugs and kisses.
Escalation of the force. Got you. Zaddy, go ahead, and then Wicked will go to you next. Wicked.
No, it's the
Go ahead,
same
Zaddy.
thing. It's I'm saying what I want to say, and if you respond, you're a woman, you're feminine, just don't respond. It's just that's what it is. That's all it is. It's okay. I mean, that's where the conversation goes, and it's okay. Like we saw what happened. He screamed and yelled and got off the phone. I'm on my motto weekend. I've been chilling all weekend, getting drunk, Playboy. You've been thinking about potato salad with raisins all weekend.
Sound like he was losing the debate real bad and got heated.
All right, so
yes, he boy screaming and yelling, kicking, and got off the phone. Rage bait. Because I'm cool. I'm respect everybody. Listen, and I'm gonna say this too. Also, I don't think that Dane or Uncle Tiger or Wicked, I don't think none of them are racist. Like, no, I don't. I think that they have a different viewpoint, and I think me and Vulcan have brought this up before, where knowing and knowing of are two different things, and that's it. Like, no, I don't think none of those guys are racist. Period. Like, if they were racist, they'd be on the phone spewing that shit right now, and they're not. And that's the truth. Dane is again very intelligent, and I like most of what he says.
I beg the affirmative on that one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I give him all of that.
He out here giving you work. But anyways,
all the marbles ain't all the way there, man. All the marbles ain't all the way there.
Well, I don't care what none of you think about me. I'm going to speak the truth. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Wicked has a point that he wants to make, and then we can open it up some more. Wicked, you're on mute, Wicked, if you're talking.
So obviously I'm the only racist guy with a mixed child. So let's start there. But would you say that the only power a word can have is dependent on the intent behind the word?
Who is that directed towards?
That would be towards everybody who would think that, words have all these powers. Do you think it would be an intent? So like, say like me and you were hanging out, we're friends, and we're listening.
They may understand your question already. If that's a question you want the panel to get, or you want to.
Yeah, I'll start. We'll start with that one because that'll kind of lead to my second one. Do you think that it would all depend on the intent of what the word is? Like when he's saying that word boy, like I understand that you don't know Dane from probably a hole in the wall.
Well, hold on, real quickly. Do you want me to answer that question, or like
Yeah, well, I would say because of intent, because I think that he's taking it as the intent was one way and Dane's intent was a completely different way.
But I guess what I'm saying is like you asked the question and you're still explaining it, but it seems like a pretty easy question everybody's going to be able to answer. So T Reason, does intent matter when it comes to the harm of the word?
Obviously so, yeah.
Freshly, does intent matter when it comes to the harm of the word?
Yeah.
Tiger, does intent matter when it comes to the harm of the word?
Intent and probably more intent. Secondly, context foremost.
Okay, Zaddy, what about for yourself?
No, I'm gonna say no. Again, it's there's no control over me. I just want a clarification.
Does intent matter for you?
I want a clarification. No, absolutely not. They just want control of everything. But yeah, anyway.
You want control of our language.
Dane, what about for you? Does intent matter?
So you want control of people's hands, right?
Yes, intent matters, but they want control of our language. And at the end of the day, the one word that he says I used is controlling the whole podcast and controlling his mind. What he has not done, what neither one of them have done, is engaged with the actual argument. And character assassination is textbook femininity. Well, he's a bad person, but they do not engage with the argument. Man up, fellas. Cool. Man up, engage with the argument, and stop crying your way to success.
James,
you are crying. When Dane called me a boy. When make Dane behave, Daddy. Make Dane behave. Get over it. Man up. Because Big Daddy's going to keep on being Big Daddy. You can like it or not. Simple as that.
Well, let me ask this question. Freshly, what do you think about this? Do you want to
That man's
explore this
serious.
part more or go to that second question?
I think this whole entire topic derailed it. This could have been handled off panel for certain.
Okay, so you would say just go to the second question?
Yeah, we should.
Thank you.
I don't think
Okay, second question it is.
be productive.
Thank you.
All right, so going around in there.
So, really, go ahead.
Does Chud and people like Chud represent a deeper problem within the white or black community? Let's start it off with T Reason. What do you got to say on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna say absolutely he does. Yeah, he does.
Okay, and what is that? You can go ahead and go into what that is.
So I think he exposes the fascination with the word. You know, people want to say this word so bad, and then it kind of exposes their character because they know why they shouldn't say the word, but they still want to say it anyway. So it tells you exactly where that person is coming from in their background, that they have such an infatuation that they want to say the word, knowing everything that word stands for and what it entails and the consequences that are dealt with that word. They know what it comes with. They're just fighting and banging their head up against the wall, kind of like what Dane is doing right now, to try to say, well, you can't tell me what I can and can't say, because they just have an infatuation with the word.
Okay, cool. And then Wicked, for you, what do you got?
Yeah, it is I would say, yeah, it is definitely a bigger problem. Because it's like, you know, again, I think everything comes with intent, because it's like, okay, say we're friends and we're hanging out, we're listening to some NWA and we're singing along to the song, and I pop the word out. You know, there's a different intent than if I am arguing with you and trying to be derogatory towards you. So again, I think it's all situational, and really depends on the person and who you're with. Now, if you're going out to a random person you don't know,
you're answering the question about, like, does Chud and people like Chud, is that indicative of a deeper problem in the society?
Yeah, I think that's a bigger problem, because most of those people that are doing that are doing it for a reaction to somebody that they don't know and trying to get a rise. But if you were to say that,
black community or both?
I would say both. I would say both, because it shows how in a community, because I've seen plenty of videos where there's black guys who get called the N-word and their reaction is to be like, you know, why are you doing that? And they try to educate the person and try to be civil and try to understand and reason with them. And then there's some that go off the emotional reaction and just want to fight and do stuff like that. So it kind of shows the difference in the community of how it affects the person. And then it shows the difference in the community of white people to some people who would be like, okay, well, listen, I think we should be able to sit down and talk about this and have it and actually have the conversation around a group of black men, like what's the name was saying before, compared to being around a group of white guys and saying it. Again, the intent of what you're trying to do really depends on what it is, and it emphasizes both races.
All right, Tiger, what about for you?
I mean, Chud is clearly a microcosm of a much larger and more important issue, and it's simply a double standard. This whole, like, white people being derogatory towards black people on purpose, however much I disagree with it, it's inappropriate and I disavow. The opposite has been the case for a very long time. I don't know about you guys, but I've had the internet for a very long time, like over 10 years. And I see the videos of black people going out of their way to offend white people. And these videos will get hundreds of thousands of views and likes and comments. And everybody's like, yeah, you know, let's be racist to white people. And the second a white person turns around and does it to somebody else, well, now it's all of a sudden an issue.
Can you give an example of that?
If the racism were reversed, we wouldn't even hear about this. It wouldn't even be a controversy. That's sort of the whole, again, disavowing. I disagree with his approach, but that's sort of the whole point of Chud the Builder, is to point out this clear and obvious double standard.
Okay, and then Dane, how about for yourself? Okay, I think he might be. I'm showing frozen on my end. Well, yeah, I guess while Dane's, I don't know, am I frozen or is Dane frozen?
Oh, he's lagging.
I think Dane's frozen.
Dane.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me? Was I frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were
lagging out.
Yeah, I don't know,
That's
man.
the slowest
I just got fiber and I upgraded to 2 gig in bandwidth, and for some reason I'm frozen. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. So the question is just like, does Chud and people like Chud, or is that in the stuff we're seeing with that? Is that more indicative of a deeper problem in the white or black community?
Absolutely. You want me to expound on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here's the thing. Tiger and Wicked are both on my Facebook. They can tell you that on my Facebook, what I've started doing is when I come across ratchet white people in public doing crazy antisocial stuff, I've started sharing that. And then my commentary for my post, I say usual suspects, because I've noticed a bunch of white people that would take videos of ratchet ghetto black people doing crazy stuff, and they share it on their Facebook and they say usual suspects. You see, because here's what happens. We've all been psyoped. We've all been psyoped going way back to the beginning of the Obama era, when it was cops are killing black people. White people are hunting black people. And then since Mr. Trump got elected, I've seen this surge, this resurgence. Now it flipped around to where now it's, oh, why can't we have a white nation? Oh, they're trying to replace white people. It is a top-down psyop to pit blacks against whites. So yes, is Chud the Builder? I'm not so sure that he's not actually a psyop with, whatever, but it's a steering of the culture. Nobody seems to know an actual racist personally, but there's this nebulous idea of a racist somewhere, that's nameless, faceless racist outside somewhere.
Gotcha.
So we boil it down to a word. Boy. Did we use the word boy? Oh, well, he did something that's completely unacceptable, and I'm going to throw this fit about it. And then that shows that gives me some sort of leverage. But the actual content of a man's character and the performance in his life from top to bottom is not important. What's important is if the makeup's done and the hair's done and I got the nails done. It's all of that appearance stuff. See, that's what makes it feminine. So, oh, you said boy, but can we engage with the actual argument? Chud does not want to engage with the argument. Chud wants to show up at a park and start using the N-word. And then when black people are like, man, go the heck on, man, leave me alone, you're bothering. Why are you chimping out? Why are you chimping out? He's not engaging at all. See, and the throwing the little whine and crying fit because somebody said boy after he was intentionally provoked on the telephone is the same thing that Chud was doing. But let's actually have a conversation and logically parse that out and come to an agreement. That takes manhood.
Thank you for that, Dane. All right, Zaddy, for yourself.
Time out. I see my guy Wicked over here. I think he knows where I'm going. You did the same exact thing Chud did, and then call me feminine. And look again.
I have not been in a park.
Again,
hold on.
I don't think you guys are racist.
Zaddy,
at all.
I guess whenever you're done, let us know when you're done.
Yeah, no. Again, yeah, he's fine. He has been in a park. I know, man. Dane, I don't think Dane's racist, but you're doing the exact same thing,
bro. We gotta move on, dog.
And don't forget, Zaddy. The question is, do you think people like Chud?
Let's move on. Let's
people
move on.
like Chud? Do you think that? Yeah. The question is, does Chud and people like Chud represent a deeper problem within the white or black community?
Yes, we'll move on. Let's go. Yes.
So what's your why for that?
Because we have to move on. Let's move on. Go ahead. Yes. My answer is yes.
Okay. You're not sharing a why. Okay. Well, then put it on Freshly. Freshly, what's your thoughts on that? And then what's your why?
So yes, it does. It is indicative of a larger problem. I think I heard Uncle Tiger say it's definitely a microcosm of the issue with both cultures. One, on one side, there is a fascination, almost an obsession with the word and why, if you say they can't use it, it becomes a problem. And then on the other side, there's an oversensitivity to the usage of the word. We do have the internet a lot. That word has been historically used to rage bait and get a reaction, a negative reaction out of people. So I wish both sides would leave it alone. That's really kind of what it should be. And I really don't mean the usage of the word. I just mean how the word is being used. It's pretty simple, but yeah, it's definitely a microcosm of a larger issue on both sides or both cultures. I wouldn't say sides, both cultures, because I don't want to divide us.
Okay, now before we move on to the next subject, does anybody want to cross-examine somebody? Okay, I don't hear anybody saying they do.
I could
Oh
respond.
no,
to
I'm
that.
happy to cross-examine. I was talking to my chat, but I'm happy
Hold on,
to.
quick,
If
Dane.
you,
I think you're next, Dane. But I think Tiger was saying something.
awesome. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tiger.
We saying Tiger?
Yeah, just to respond to that really quick. I mean, hey,
who specifically? Who specifically? Freshly?
Yeah, Freshly.
You gonna
Yeah,
cross-examine Freshly?
I
Okay.
actually appreciate that. Listen,
Right.
I don't think anybody should be going around and deliberately offending people, saying nasty things, right? And maybe I think the issue is like if it should either be we're all allowed to say a thing or none of us are allowed to say a thing, and I would get behind either one of those.
I just want to clarify that was not my point.
Okay.
I just want to be clear.
You.
All of
He
us
heard what
saying
he wanted to hear,
was
man.
not my point. I just leave the word as it is. Here's a problem, Uncle Tiger, and I think from your perspective, you are almost assuming that everyone out here is being straightforward and being man up. Now, I'm going to give you my personal philosophy. If you're not man enough to say it out loud, right? If you're going to be underhanded about it or backhanded about it or tongue-in-cheek about it, I personally don't respect you enough to give you the energy that you're looking for. That's me personally. If you're talking about intent, just because it's not come out, it doesn't come out and it's intentionally derogatory, right? There's a lot of cowards out here who are using that derogatorily, underhandedly, right? Behind the back, real slick. They're trying to get it in so they can feel like, oh, I said that thing and you didn't do anything about it. Whereas like it could be 50-50. Now, that may be a comprehension issue, that may be an emotional issue, but it's not as black and white as you guys are painting it. Like, well, if they're using it derogatorily, then obviously it's wrong. But if not, context is not everything, because sometimes context can be a very gray area.
But at the same time, you told me to just let it go. You're right. I just want to understand
let
where
your
he was coming
personal
from.
issue go.
I don't know that man from a can of paint. There's no personal issue. So what are you talking about?
Well, of course, there's a personal issue.
Between you and another individual.
There's nothing you can do that can affect my life.
Well,
I have controlled your mind. I have controlled your mind since that telephone conversation. You have been looking forward to getting on this script. Can we talk one at a time? Can we talk one at a time? I didn't interrupt you. You see, this was the issue on the phone. This was the
This
issue
is just
on
a
the
bunch of
phone.
woman prattle. Both of y'all can just shut up
You
and we can continue.
You can have an actual respectful back and forth. You have to just prattle on like a woman and just talk over people. And that's what you did on the phone. But then you get on here and you lie like a coward and you want to say that you were just so respectful. I was very respectful to the gentleman, and you weren't. You were a butthole. And so I spoke to you in the language that buttholes understand. And even in this exchange we've had on this podcast, even in this exchange, you have not mounted an argument. You have not mounted a logical argument to show anything that you say is true or real or logical. What you've done is cried and whined and moaned and groaned and.
Yeah, okay. I think Eno stepped in right there. You're on mute, Dane.
I think there's a bag of care backstage that you guys can go pick up and we can continue.
Someone must have muted me. I guess they're tired of me talking, so that's cool.
I was asking you to find a place to land, but real quickly, Zaddy, you got 20 seconds, and then we're gonna move on.
I don't need 20 seconds. I'm good. Like my point.
He's got all his crying out. He's got all his crying out. Do you have an? You didn't make a point. You cried. Do you have an argument?
Hold on.
I'll make this point. You're right. You heard the way he's talking here. So how was that conversation on the phone the other day any different? I haven't been disrespectful to anybody.
Let's say this, Zaddy.
I haven't been disrespectful to anybody.
It was private.
And I hear you, Fresh. I hear you. I know you love me.
Let's say this, Zaddy.
Anybody.
Okay, let me ask you this, Zaddy, if I can. If you can give me a moment.
If you get a moment, he's got to get another moment.
No, I want to hear him. No, go ahead. I want to hear him.
I want to hear him. Either of the moments to talk about.
Yeah, the main thing is I don't hear a clear.
We are listening to Zane.
Point of disagreement. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask Zaddy a question?
Well, hold on, real quickly. I want to say this real quick so we can move on. I get it. There's going to be some stuff, but Zaddy, I was giving you 20 seconds. You're saying you don't need the 20 seconds. Do you want the 20 seconds or not?
I don't. I say what I'd say, but
Okay, cool.
I want. No, wait. I want to give it to Dane because Dane was talking and y'all just cut him off.
God, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, the thing
is, I'll give it to Dane.
Okay, are you taking a turn after Dane, or Dane's gonna be the end all?
I don't know. Dane, do you want me to respond?
No. Well,
of course I would.
Okay, so I tell you what.
Okay,
but I would like to ask a question.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna give this exchange. If you want to, Dane, you want to have this exchange?
I would love it. I am in my natural element.
Freshly, how much time do we give him for this exchange?
I'd like about 30 or 45 minutes.
45.
Listen,
I don't get tired.
I would say they get 2 minutes each. If someone cannot structure a logical, fact-based argument, if it's coming from feelings or opinions or thoughts, we gotta move on.
The whole basis of the argument is feelings.
Are y'all gonna have an exchange, or y'all just want a chance to be to say?
Okay, so let me clarify something.
I just want to ask a question. That's all I want to do is ask a question.
I'm gonna let these two guys know.
I'm gonna set the timer at 2. Ask the question, and then Zaddy, y'all go. I'm gonna give y'all 2 minutes to do whichever y'all gonna do. Y'all got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Here's my question, Zaddy. Here's my question. Let's say that based on what you say I said on the phone, you know, when I called you a boy, let's say that I am a racist bigot who hates black people. I don't, but let's grant that for the sake of argument. Let's say that in my closet back there in my bedroom, I have a white sheet with a pointed hat hanging in the closet, and I called you a boy. So what? I need you to mount for me an objectively moral argument explaining to me why that is wrong without appealing to your damned feelings. Objective, not subjective. Objective means absent of your own mind and feelings. Give me an objective argument for why it would be wrong for me to use the word boy to describe you on the telephone. That's all I need.
It's on you, Zaddy. I mean,
okay, I was making sure. I
said I'm gonna give y'all 2 minutes to do whatever I gotta do.
Who got the sound?
I'm gonna let you know I wasn't muted at all. I just want to let you know I wasn't muted. I was just being quiet out of respect for the racists. But
it's about time to show the respect.
Go ahead. Your 2 minutes. Go ahead. You got it.
Remember, y'all got 2 minutes total because you said you weren't sure if you were gonna respond.
So while you're right. So again, this goes back to what he's saying is he's trying to make me as a black man feel less than by saying I'm feminine, by saying I don't give a shit what this man.
Yes, you do. I'm asking for an objectively moral argument.
The whole fucking time. Shut the fuck up. That's what you gotta do.
Objective. Anyway, I don't want to hear about your feelings. I don't care how you feel. I need an objective argument.
Again. Back to what I was saying. Everything you're saying is bullshit. That's it. Like, look, there's nothing I can do to make y'all understand what you're saying or what you're doing. You got it. I'm just here now. Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm just here, and you're so mean.
So Zaddy, are you
quiet up there?
So Zaddy, you're saying that that you pretty much said what you had to say.
Yeah. We good to go.
Okay.
Well, I will say that because y'all said there are no words that cannot bother y'all, and like I said, I enjoy my life. But anyways, there are no words that can bother y'all. Just like Vulcan, my favorite slogan. Here we go. My favorite slogan from my brother Minister Farrakhan to Mike Wallace. I think y'all should keep quiet. But anyways, go ahead.
All right. So we got that. Next topic is, I think we covered a lot of that right there. It's never gonna end, I'm sure. So the next topic we have, I don't know if everybody knows that David Banner was on an interview with Cam Newton, and they were discussing some very important things. So now we're going to transition to talking about that. I think we got a comment. Do we have any comments, Enos, you want to put up on the screen first? So John Munoz says, speaking of Memorial Day, 500,000 white men gave in the Civil War to a baller slavery. I'm not going to be able to read that one. Next one. The media is designed to divide us 100% on that, Dane. Would you say jealousy is a woman trait? That's a question right there. What else we got, Munoz? I mean, Enos. All right, that's it right there. Sorry. So now we're gonna transition to the David Banner conversation with Cam Newton. It's gonna be on the same topic, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's gonna be a lot of similar topics here. So I think Zaddy and T Reason, Freshly, Uncle Tiger, Wicked, and Dane are gonna have much more to disagree about as we cover it more. So let's go ahead and get into it.
My question is not necessarily on topic of rap and hip hop. It's more specific to you being and having the roots of Jackson, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Mississippi is slept on?
Yes, very much so. But more specifically, Mississippi.
Okay.
You can trace most contemporary music in America back to Mississippi.
Okay.
Most great music, the basis of it is pain. No one has suffered in North America the way that the African or the Moorish people have, right? And so the reason why our music resonates the way that it does is because the one thing that everybody in this room will have in common is pain through death.
Okay. So the first question we have here, and I'll start with Wicked. He says that African Americans, the Moors, have suffered the most in North America. You agree, disagree? We'll get into the why afterwards. Disagree.
I mean, in comparison to who? Like Native Americans? I would need more context in that. I mean, to say that they have suffered, that's undeniable. There's been plenty of suffering.
Would you agree with him that they suffer the most in North America?
It depends on who you're comparing to. Yeah, it depends on who you're comparing to. If you compare to white people, if you compare to white people, yeah, they've suffered more to like Indian Americans, Native Americans.
There's nobody that suffered more in North America.
The most I would not the most.
If you need more time, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the most total out of everybody.
Okay, so no. Okay, Tiger, what about for you? African Americans / Moors, have they suffered the most in North America? You're on mute.
Man, I'm tired of you people. I'm tired of you people stealing my job with the mute button.
I was off mute and then I got muted while I was
damn Irish. Them damn Irish. You let them Irish in, they want to take over.
Okay, well, can I just get some clarification on the term Moors? Did I hear that correctly? What does that mean?
If you don't know Moors, you could drop that one. Just African Americans. Would you say that the African Americans have suffered the most on North America? In North America?
I think African Americans have legitimate grievances, but have they suffered the most? That's I'm on the fence with that metric. Well, but
so you would say right now, you say you don't know,
and what do you mean by most?
Okay. So you would say you don't know right now, or
I would I won't sit on the fence. No, I don't think they've suffered the most. Have they suffered a lot? Sure, but not the most.
Zaddy, what about for yourself? Have African Americans and or Moors suffered the most in North America, according to David Banner? Remember, people that's on audio can't hear you, Zaddy.
Now Zaddy's stealing my stage. Now he's stealing my stage, man. I'm the one who talks on mute. Let's get that established.
Go ahead and do that then.
Y'all need to establish that on the rules.
I didn't mute it. It was muted for me. So yeah, no. So I see where Dane's coming from because I didn't mute it.
Yeah, so
y'all need to add it to the rules. Add it to the rules you go over before the show.
So Zaddy, you would say
Absolutely. And again, this goes back to Farrakhan, Mike Wallace. I think you should keep quiet. But yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right, T Reason for yourself.
Yeah, I believe so. From everything that I know, yeah, I would say absolutely.
Dane, what about yourself?
No.
Okay, Freshly.
Nah.
All right. Okay, so we got a good mix here. Hold on. We really only have Zaddy that said that.
NT.
yeah, that they suffered the most. So Zaddy, you got opportunity, man. You go and take a full minute and give everybody your thoughts on that, so we can have the conversation. Got a minute.
You know, I don't want to be called emotional because of history and what's been done. So I'm gonna say that, hey, yeah. Again, I'm gonna go back to my brother Farrakhan and say, hey, Mike Wallace, keep quiet. But let T Reasons also said it too, so let him go, because yeah.
All right, so Zaddy's yielding the floor to you. T Reason, what you got?
Well, I mean, we all know the history. I mean, I don't need to elaborate too much on that, but I would challenge anybody that's saying that it's not African Americans to tell me why it is that any other group or ethnic group or race has dealt with more, and give some examples of that.
So you just, I mean, if I'm
I
hearing you correctly,
know they're
you're
going to
saying,
probably say Native Americans.
well, hold on, you don't have to guess for them. It's fine. But the thing is, like, they're gonna have plenty of time to level out their case as well. But I'm saying for you, you're saying you don't have a positive case. Why you don't have a you're saying you don't have a reason yourself.
Oh, absolutely,
why.
I have a positive case.
Absolutely. Okay, you don't feel like sharing it.
I mean, we got hundreds of years of slavery, man. I mean, we was brought over here on boats, against our will. We was hung from trees. You know what I mean? Everything that's happened during the time of slavery, we all know what's happened during those times. We know we weren't allowed to vote. For a vast majority of that time, we were not considered human. We were subhuman. So the history is there. I mean, anybody on this podcast should be intelligent enough to know what African Americans have endured in America for many years and continue to endure in 2026. Even with a lot of the laws being passed right now.
Just to interject real quick here, just to make sure we understand the assignment. The question of David Banner didn't say. Excuse me, David Banner didn't say African Americans have suffered in America. And then I asked the question, do y'all agree? He says that they suffered the most. Most is a comparative term by definition. So in your positive case, I would imagine you'd be using comparative language to make your case if we're being logically coherent with this.
Well, see, I don't think nothing compares, so I don't necessarily start comparing right away because I want to know what their comparison is. I want to know what they think is a fair comparison.
I would compare it to Native Americans who got completely slaughtered and not just enslaved.
Okay, so
do you also know black people own slaves a lot? Like a lot of black people own slaves as well.
I think T Reason was done making his case because I guess he's wanting to hear y'all. So I guess we could.
I mean, my case would be like, if you said.
Go ahead and if you can, and go ahead and 30 seconds or less, make your case. There's more.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
the next one.
I would say I would say you have African Americans that were enslaved, yes, but they were also enslaved by other African Americans, not just white people. You have Native Americans who were completely slaughtered compared to being enslaved. So I think
who were slaughtered by other Native Americans. All throughout the history of America, they've been fighting and killing.
Right, but you're talking, you're talking about white people, about people who had the most endurance. Like if you have white on white crime, black on black crime, Native American crime, but you're talking about they suffered the most. So I mean, I feel like if you have not just one group, if you have your own group attacking you, yeah, that's bad. But if you have a whole nother group literally taking,
but you're using in your example that black people had other blacks as slaves, and I'm using in my example that other Native Americans slaughtered and brutally killed other Native Americans as a daily practice.
Yeah, every culture did that. I mean, all cultures killed their own culture.
Literally, Indians would literally go to war with other Indians. Literally wage war, and that was a normal thing. They had
that happens that happens in all races. That happens in all races.
I'm trying to say what's the main point?
You're using them dying as an example when I'm saying they were brutally killing each other. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, well, real quickly, somebody else can make so Wicked made his case.
Killing each other.
Hold on, somebody. I'm gonna give. So Tiger, do you want to use it? You were on the fence, I guess. So Dane or Freshly, you want to make your case?
Yeah, I think it's close, but I still think the systemic erasure of Native Americans and how long they went through that was a little bit worse. If we're talking about just all of North America forever, I go with Native Americans. There's other stuff, but if we're comparing, yeah, I think the Native Americans historically had it slightly worse.
Okay, Dane, how about for yourself? And we'll go to you next, Daddy, on it. Dane, what about for yourself?
What am I myselfing about? Am I telling who I think had it worse?
So David Banner makes the point in the video that nobody's had it worse than African Americans in North America.
Right, and I said no.
You said no. So why do you say no?
Well, it's kind of like freshly there. I mean, the Native Americans, I don't know how many people, is this when we make our argument or we just name who we think's had it worse?
Sorry, say it again.
A little bit of both.
No, you just go. You just go.
Okay, just go. I can make my argument. I don't know how many of y'all know actual like Native Americans who are living the Native American life on the reservation and in the Native American culture. But if any of, I don't know if y'all do, but I do. The Native Americans I know that are living the current Native American life in the Native American culture, they're Navajo. Most of them are out west, of course, where the Navajo are at. But there's some here locally that are very good friends of mine. And if you talk to them and you find out what they live like now on the reservations and the discrimination that they endure and where they're at socioeconomically, for instance, on the reservation, the Native Americans, which are, Native American is a misnomer anyway, but the Native Americans on the reservations today cannot own their own land and build their own houses because the dirt belongs to the reservation, which belongs to the federal government. So banks will not even loan on that. So they cannot build any sort of a wealth. You know, the first self-made female millionaire was Madam C.J. Walker, a black woman, because she had the opportunity to work her butt off and develop a cosmetic industry, and she was rolling in the dough. Name me a Native American millionaire. You can't do it.
Oh.
And you might know this too, but isn't it true that some of those nations don't have their own water?
Yeah,
they're very limited.
I could go on forever, Wicked, if Vulcan wants to give me the latitude, but then he'll have to change the name to the Big Daddy Pod, you know. So I don't want to do that.
Zaddy, you want to come in there at all, or you got anything you want to add to it?
Yeah, no, just
I'm confused.
Y'all are acting as if Native Americans were extinct or something, or they were just gone. I mean, they didn't get land, they didn't get the stuff that they don't have reservations, they don't have all that stuff. You're right.
I think before you
whereas
go
ahead, I'll let you finish.
Like they were extinct. You do your research.
So again, black people had laws that were made to slow them down. They were 3/5 of a person. Like you name one other race that was considered not human.
Indians.
Okay, no, absolutely not. And that's the crazy part. So again, we've had to go through the peon system, civil rights. We've had to go through all that stuff. Of course,
the Native Americans didn't even have a civil rights movement. They didn't even have a civil rights movement. Right now, today, Native Americans have lands that by treaty belong to them and they're self-governing, but they have oil and coal and copper and this sort of stuff that private companies are sucking out of the ground, and the money's supposed to go back to the Native Americans, but the federal government is delayed. We're getting around to it. When you see documentaries on television of Native Americans living in rundown trailers, it's because they can't build houses or any of that sort of infrastructure development without permission from the Department of Indian Affairs.
So
a black man today.
400 years though. We'll go back to that 400 years.
Now, Zaddy or T Reason, and y'all have a good counter for any of that stuff you've heard?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
far?
he started off with false statements. I mean, he said there's no Native American millionaires. It's just not true. There's Native American billionaires. So, I mean, he just starts saying stuff and thinks he's.
I didn't say there was no Native American
You said
billionaires.
You can't name one.
Where did I
Native
say
American
that?
millionaire.
Where did I say there were no?
The first black millionaire, you were saying, well, you can't name me a Native American millionaire. That's what you said.
You're on mute, Dane.
How you talking to himself?
Dane, you're on mute.
Again, he didn't just because language and words are important. T-Reason, he didn't in fact say they weren't in existence. He said you can't name him one. So as soon as you name him one, then you will prove him wrong.
I mean,
presumably
you can name a whole bunch of them. There's a whole bunch
just
of
do it. Then you don't have an
Ken Hill.
Once you do it, and we don't have an
Ken
argument.
Hill, Native American, billionaire.
Well, the main thing is obviously, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Dane's point was that it's not common enough that we would know the name. So if we go and Google it, obviously,
hold on a second.
That's not going to
Just
fit
because
what
Black
his point
history
was.
is talked about
Wait.
and we vote more vocal than them, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or that you can't name it.
Can I get a clarification?
You had to Google. You had to Google.
Well,
did you
listen,
know who
like I
Madam
said, our
C.J.
history is
Walker?
talked about.
Did
We
you
have
know
a-
who Madam C.J. Walker was? Did you know who Madam C.J.
Because I'm
Walker was?
black. If I was Native American,
I'm white, and I know who Madam C.J. Walker was. I bet you a cracker like Uncle Tiger here knew who Madam C.J. Walker was.
I did actually, yeah. Who Chud is, and we're here. We are.
I bet you nobody knows who the billionaire running bear who shits in the woods was. Never heard of him.
Can I get a clarification real quick?
Yeah, I think we covered that one pretty well. Obviously, we weren't going to get any type of consensus on that one. Enos or Freshly, whoever's doing it, can we get to the next clip?
I think Dane would call that a mute point. Ain't that what you call that, Dane?
I just want to clarify something real quick.
That's what you call it. That's what you call it. My bright skated brother T Reason is a mute point, but it's spelled M-O-O-T. It's moot, not mute. Mute means turning the noise off. Moot means it does not matter. Moot, M-O-O, like boot, like your shoe, a leather, like boot. Moot is the word. Mute means you can't hear.
Yeah, so we're waiting on it.
Look, I need T Reason to send me his P.O. box so I can send him a gift card or something for putting up with me.
I'm gonna send you some boxes of tissue, man.
Yeah, so
for real, overnight.
I'm gonna send you a gift card to a steakhouse or something. Tell me a good steakhouse in your neighborhood. I'm gonna mail it to you, man. I'm gonna mail it to you.
So real quickly, what I'm hearing, y'all, I don't know, we're having a good time, is that pretty much the consensus is out of the Native Americans and African Americans on who had it worse in North America.
Vulcan, let me respond to that. I saw a video today. It's funny you would bring this up because I didn't know. I thought most of the stream was going to be about Chum the dumbass. I'm sorry, y'all are monetized. Chum the builder. Okay, but I saw a video today, and it showed this African family, and they were gathered around, squatted down, and they had a watermelon. Look, it's the video. Okay, I'm not making this up. And the man had a rock, and he beat his watermelon until pieces busted out, and they went to eating the watermelon. And then it did a duet, and it cut over to the guy who was making the duet, and it was a black guy. And what he said basically was, he said, "Hey, I keep telling y'all that I'm thankful for slavery. I'm glad I'm not over there beating a watermelon with a rock to be able to eat a watermelon." That's what he said. I'm just saying that it needs to be considered.
Sounds good. All right, we got the next one popping up.
Back to the racism.
How is that racism? I'm telling you about a video I saw that somebody else made.
All right, guys, here we go.
Well, I don't think I got to give my take on the
space.
Oh, well, real quick. Hold on, real quick, CJ. I guess for that one, because I thought you were kind of on the you didn't really know fence.
Well, no, I said no.
Okay, Okay, but then go ahead and take 20, 30 seconds to give your perspective on it.
Irish discrimination.
I was just going to say, yeah, the reality is everybody's been discriminated at one point or another in America, right? And every single person that belongs to whatever group is going to say, well, no, it was my group that suffered the most. Well, it was my group that suffered the most, right? It's arbitrary. There's no way we can pinpoint, what is the actual metric for suffering.
I think you can actually.
The Irish were persecuted. The Italians are persecuted.
Remember quickly, this is in North America, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding you, Tiger, really well. You're saying that there's no type of rubric of suffering that you would deem as being
Well, if
That
I
has to be
had
the
to, I
wildest
would
take of the
probably
objective
night.
pick the
enough.
Native Americans. But
To
Objective
you
dilute
enough.
know,
the
again,
suffering
it's
of an
like,
entire
what is
people
the
like that.
most quote suffering? You know,
It's
isn't
got to be the
suffering just
wildest take.
suffering?
Okay,
No.
got you. So you would say there's not really no real way to measure it.
Yeah, not definitively.
Okay, but what about like approximately?
Yeah, approximately, we could perhaps land on the Native Americans, perhaps.
Okay. And who
Approximately.
would be your second runner up?
Yeah, I mean, I guess probably the blacks. Sure.
Okay, got you. All right, cool. All right, Freshly, appreciate you. We have comments. I think I saw comments pop up, but can we at least? This is Munoz put on here. Can we at least get together as men and drop the racism and unite together and bring back sexism?
Based.
Yeah. All right.
I'll pledge.
And about 3 pages of what they're going to give you. When we walk into business situations, we usually don't know our worth and we don't know what we want. All we know is we want some money. When you know, I know you know this now. Usually if you get a lot of money on the front end, you getting your ass towed up. You a slave at the end, right? So what I realize is that when we stay in these small spaces, we usually don't have a vision. I saw.
Okay, that was 21:25 to 21:58. That was it.
Yes, sir.
I watched
Yeah,
about
we
half
gotta-
of that video. It's an interesting video.
Yeah, we can go to the next one then. I don't
The next timestamp.
Yeah, it's be the 28:20.
Okay. It's got to be standby. I think it's got to be Enos. Because when I play mine,
in 20 years. It's what they'll say about you in 200 years if they know you fucking lived. And I don't want to be known for just play.
It's playing.
That he
I
died,
can hear it playing.
you would have thought
We
that
can
was
hear it
Malcolm
playing.
in 20 years.
Just can't see
It's what
it.
they'll say about you in
right? Because I can't. It won't let me share my screen on the main screen. I think that's an Enos thing.
200 years if they know you fucking lived. And I don't want to be known for just play.
Is that you doing that, or is that Enos doing that?
That's what they did to Martin Luther King. They picked picked the most digestible time in history about him, and that's what they put out to us every year. If you go back and look at Martin Luther King, and it's online, the speech that he was going to do at his church that the week that he died, you would have thought that was Malcolm X. Martin Luther King was sick of getting his ass beat on. He wanted to be about finances. He was talking about some of the things that were going on in the war that nobody dared to speak about. That was the reason why they killed that man. But the version of Martin Luther King that black people love, I don't think Martin Luther King liked him when he died. If they could separate themselves, he wasn't like that dude.
But how that's heavy.
But it's the truth.
But how
He told Harry Belafonte, I think I have integrated my people into a burning house. That's basically telling Harry Belafonte everything that I built my life on is a lie. He said that. David Banner didn't say that. And I think if you ask his kids, they would tell you that. It's just harsh to realize that we've been duped, bro. That's the hardest thing when it comes to food, history, bro. If it ain't mathematics or science, in most cases, these people done lied to us. And that's hard to admit that we went down the wrong road, bro.
So I'm trying to separate because I'm trying to follow. And specifically to Martin Luther King.
Okay, so going back into it, we just got done hearing them talk about the Harry Belafonte conversation with Martin Luther King and his regret of integration, potentially. That's what David Banner is saying. So For you, T Reason, do you believe that Martin Luther King regretted integrating his community?
There's a lot of talks about towards the end, before he was assassinated and different things like that, that he had got more information and he discovered something that he didn't know prior to the Million Man March and his famous speech and stuff like that. So there are talks that in his later days, in his last days, he did regret integration.
So you believe that he regretted integration?
To an extent, yes.
Okay. Dane, do you believe that Martin Luther King regretted integration towards the end?
Me? You did,
Yeah.
did you say Dane? I think I heard you say Dane. Did you say Dane?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to my chat. I was thinking, did that fool just say Million Man March? Because that's Louis Farrakhan. But that ain't none of my business or whatever. I've heard that quote. Do I think he regretted integration? I don't know what he regretted. I can't see into his heart and head and his mind. But I think it's a valid point that if he did lead them into integration, and I have a lot of stuff in my head having to do with the CIA and Marxism and stuff that we won't get into here. But if that's what I believe, that he could have thought that, and if he did think that, he was probably correct.
All right, Wicked. Do you think that Martin Luther King regretted integration?
Honestly, I don't know enough to even know.
Tiger, what about you? Do you know enough to know, Tiger?
Well, I've read a lot of mixed takes on Martin Luther King. I don't know what was truly on his heart, but there is some weight to the segregationist point of view. If let's say we were all segregated by race, then there would potentially be much less racial tension. So that I would, to a degree.
As far as the Martin Luther King part, you're not sure about that part.
Sorry?
But as far as the Martin Luther King regretting it, that part you're not sure of?
Yeah, I can't, I don't know what was actually on his mind. I think a lot of it was, yeah, okay, good.
No. Zaddy, what about for you? Do you think that Martin Luther King regretted integration towards the end?
I'm going to say I don't know because I'm not him. But I will say it goes back to our last question where we talked about who had it worse, where if he was debating integration and we couldn't do it ourselves because, we have Rosewood and Black Wall Street that were, where do we belong? So it goes back to our last questions where who has it worse? Yeah, but anyways, yeah, go ahead. No, I'm going to say I don't know because I'm not him. But yeah.
Okay, Freshly, how about for yourself?
I don't know that he regretted it as a concept. I think he regretted how he did it, how he led it, the methods that he utilized to reach the goal that he was trying to reach. Because there's nothing to indicate that he became a segregationist at the end. I think he just regretted his methods.
Got you. Cool. All right. Well, I don't hear any strong disagreements on that. We can go to the next video. Whoever it is.
You don't think it'd be interesting? None of my business. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dan. What you got to say?
I was just going to ask if you thought it would be interesting to kind of explore kind of that whole idea. The reason I ask, you remember several
versus integration.
What I'm saying, like several streams ago, when a guy Al, remember Enos kept calling him just AI, and I told him it was just Al. That's my barber. The dude does a heck of a beard job. Be honest with you, if you're ever in Mobile, Alabama, go see him. Master Blends, Alan Dees is the name. Cool dude. But anyway, I was there one time and there was a streamer in there actually. His channel on YouTube is Big Ward the Genius. The dude's bigger than I am, and I'm 6'3" and 325 pounds, a big old dude. And he was in the chair beside me, and we got into a conversation about integration. And he was talking about how great it was. And then I asked him, I said, do you think that the educational quality of your grandparents was better or worse than the educational quality of your children? And he said, oh, it was much, much, much better. And I asked him, I said, well, if your grandparents before integration was educated better than your children after integration, then what good was integration? And he looked at me, and I mean, this dude's hands, man, is as big as a steering wheel looks like. I mean, the dude's a big dude, man. a nice guy, but he's a big dude. And he said, well, it's equal protection under the law, which is what the left uses, equal protection under the law. And I asked him, I said, but Ward, I said, if you've got equal protection under the law, but your children are not receiving a quality education, what good is it? And so I think that is a valid question, and it's a valid something to.
Anybody have a comment or especially rebuttal towards that? Anybody disagree? Okay, we don't have any disagreement, Dane. There we go.
Well, doggone, I was hoping there'd be some disagreement so I could fight with. Come on, T Reason. It's been weeks since we've been here, man.
You gotta hit me with something harder than that, man. Come on now. You gotta come with it.
Can't be spitting facts, Dane.
He gets lucky every once in a while. Bro Croc is right twice a day. So
I got 5 kids from getting lucky every once in a while, man. So don't knock it.
I believe.
Hey.
Oh no. Hold on, my fault. No, it'd be
once a year, you know what I mean?
Black kids.
2820. 2820. There we go.
I'm trying to follow. And specifically to Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
The version that is in front of us, the propaganda that we see in schools and in Black History Months and the I Have a Dream and the monuments and how great Martin Luther King was and what he stood for. You're saying that it's a lie?
What I am saying is, boy, here go all them endorsements, Regina. Regina said, No, bro, like, integration was the worst thing that ever happened to Black people. Being enslaved is just losing a war. Like, once we integrated, we thwarted the opportunity to teach our own children. We don't have no options on what we teach Black kids in public schools. Think about this, y'all.
Yeah, so the question is he right? Was integration the worst thing that happened to Black people? We'll start off.
The worst?
Yeah, so Zaddy, what do you think about David Banner? David Banner said integration was the worst thing that happened to Black people. Do you agree, disagree?
Disagree because I love taking down their women. But anyways.
Okay, Uncle Tiger. What about
inflammatory?
I think integration could be perceived as good or bad in either direction. But if I had to nail it down, I would say that it probably hasn't been great for.
The question is the worst thing that happened to Black people?
Probably not. I think we all fared better when we had our own communities and our own churches, our own schools, and it's not to say that there should be hatred or anything like that. We can freely associate, but forced integration is a problem.
So the question is integration the worst thing that happened to Black people? You said probably not, but it sounds like you're saying that integration probably was better.
No, I'm saying that.
Sorry, integration probably was worse than segregation. Sorry, you're saying segregation might be better than integration. But his point was, is integration the worst thing that happened to Black people?
Well, the worst thing?
That's his words, yes.
No.
Okay. Wiki, what about for you?
I would say no, it's white liberal women.
T Reason, what about for you?
I say it's more of a consolation prize. I mean, there's a lot worse. Things can always be worse. I'm a big proponent that things can always be worse. So I'm not going to say it's the worst thing.
How about Freshly?
He's clearly subscribing to hyperbole, but if we're answering the question literally, it can't possibly be considered the worst thing to happen to Black people in America.
Worse than slavery.
Worse than slavery, worse than Jim Crow, worse than lynchings. Come now.
Yeah, I think it's actually one of the better things for Black people.
Okay, so then let's have that conversation then, because Dane had already brought it up earlier. Let's on the conversation of whether integration or segregation at that time was better. Anybody feel like or believe that segregation was better for all parties or any particular party than integration? Segregation was better than integration. Anybody have that mindset?
I think it would come down to the individual.
You're saying some individuals might find it better for them, and some individuals might find
I think it would come down to the individual itself. Personally,
but as far as the group, like you said it would
as a group, I would say generally speaking, no, because I can never really put anything in a monolith because there's always exceptions to the rule. And you know what I mean? I think you could see where in some ways that segregation benefited. You could see in ways where it didn't benefit. So it's hard to say that, it was the worst thing or it was the least worst thing because there's positives and negatives. You know what I mean? I'd say for it to be
know which one was better.
Yeah, because it becomes down to an individual level, because there's some areas where when Black people were segregated, they were doing much better as a individual community group. But when they got integrated and were forced to, I guess, I don't want to say, I guess, become the same thing as somebody else. You know what I mean? I think that's the way it becomes immigrated. You're trying to force something to be like something else when it's not that thing, So it's like, it really comes down to the individual when it comes down to that part.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to say on that topic?
Integration.
Dane's frozen on my end.
Mine too.
Yeah, he keeps going back and forth. He's lagging. Now we lost him.
I think the conversation on that is definitely from a hindsight position. So anyone who's saying like integration was bad or is the worst thing to happen, that's definitely a hindsight perspective. When they were going into it, obviously integration is the pursuit.
Am I still frozen?
No, you're good now.
No, you live,
unfortunately. With the pursuit of equality, right? We want to integrate because we want the same stuff that y'all have. We want the same rights, we want the same opportunities that you guys have. So conceptually, integration is not a bad thing. The execution, right? There may have been a few failures in how it was executed. Some unforeseen circumstances, or really, I won't even say circumstance, unforeseen resistance in that space. But I think going into it is like, well, yeah, integration is good because if we go to your schools and we can eat at your dining, like we get the same thing that you have access to. Access was the initial was the overarching goal. So did it work out well? No, it didn't. But that's a hindsight perspective. I don't think we can kind of rest our laurels on that.
That's why I said it probably goes to the individual.
At the time that it was going on, integration was looked the best at the time that the decision had to be made.
Right. It looked like the best option because I don't think the people who were trying to push it really realized the type of opposition or resistance that they were experiencing.
They realized it. They realized it. They realized
Zaddy,
it.
You got a problem? You want to make Zaddy?
Yeah, they realized it with Rosewood. They realized it with Black Wall Street. Yes, they realized it. They said, hey, once we start doing better, they're going to come destroy it and destroy us. Yes, 100% they realized it. Yeah. So
yeah, but
Rosewood and Black Wall Street supposedly didn't have anything to do with integration, actually. But that's a nice way to work that in.
No, 100% because we did it ourselves.
Had nothing to do with it.
You're
had nothing to do with it.
So therefore, it had to turn
had nothing
to that.
to do with
it. Hey, that's your opinion, and I like it.
It's not opinion; it's historical fact. And what I would love for you to do is come out with historical fact to mount an objective argument to support your position instead of crying and whining and making these allegations.
I think once you look back at this, you realize what you just said and what I just
I think
said.
that what would be great is if you actually mounted an argument instead of making assertions and crying.
You're right.
Hey, let's just ask the question that has an answer.
I think if you look this back, you will see exactly what you said and what I said, and you'll see what I'm saying.
How was
Oh
my gosh, y'all are childish as shit. How was Rosewood the result of integration? That's an easy question that you can answer. Let's just do that. The ridiculing, all that, the extra stuff.
I was no.
Come on, man. The extra
You
stuff is
said how
fun.
was Rosewood? What? One more time. I'm sorry. Because
The result or associated with integration.
Again, I think if y'all hear what I just said, if y'all look back and hear what I just said and hear what he said, I said that we did it ourselves, and they came and took it away.
So that had to do with integration. How?
That's us doing it ourselves. That's us doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
So
So
we can't
you
do
don't
it
think it would
ourselves.
have more
What
to do with
choice do we
segregation?
have? What choice do you have when you can't do it yourself?
Right. Well, don't you think that sounds like more like segregation than integration? We're
No.
talking about integration.
What choice? What? So segregation. We're doing it ourselves.
Correct.
And they take okay. Again, let me slow down. We're doing it ourselves.
Right.
And they come and destroy it.
Correct.
What other choice do we have?
But to what?
I don't know.
Okay, so I think I hold on. I think I know what he's saying. I think I can connect this. Hold on.
You're right.
I think I can connect this.
But Wicked, I don't think it's that people don't know what he's saying. I think people are just waiting for him to actually make a whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like we.
I know I'm waiting.
People can predict what he's saying, but it's just like it's on him to say it.
Man, the more Zaddy talks, the more I love T Reason.
Nah, that's crazy.
I know eventually you'll come around, man. I just thought it would take you a little bit of time to connect the dots.
Man, T Reason, what I can give you and Vulcan, Enos, and Freshly can tell you, I've told this to them before. I said T Reason is looking to get his positions to balance out logically. T Reason is interested in what is true.
The truth.
Now I disagree. I disagree with. I've told him this. I disagree with what T Reason believes is true, but he's at least his goal seems to me to be what is true. He wants to know that what he believes is true. I just think he's wrong, but there's a possibility I'm wrong, and that's where the logical debate comes in to hammer that out. Like iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. But I've never doubted that you were interested in getting to the truth.
It's not getting sharpened here. I'm here, but I hear y'all. Look, and again, that you do that and that's cute, but it doesn't bother me.
Send me your P.O. box, T Reason. I'm gonna send you a gift card to a steak restaurant.
Time out. Hey, wait, time out. I thought you were gonna say send me. I will send you mine. Shit. I want a steak.
Send me your P.O. box, man. Send me your P.O. box. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. Send me your I'll send you a gift card to a steak place if that'll shut you up. Go ahead.
Hey, look. I want my steak.
All right, well, hold on. So before we get back to that right there, we got some comments.
Both of y'all reoccurring Kleenex tissue.
Yeah.
From Amazon.
We got some comments real quick. So Logical Minutes After Dark says, Space Cadets, what's up? And then he also says, to this day, Black people love to go places where they aren't wanted. The nerve of those people. Entitlement much? I got a comment. Don't ever talk about a man's hands being big as a steering wheel again, Dane.
Oh, my hands are big. My hands are bigger than a steering wheel, but I got something big. I need to hold on to it. And it ain't just my. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Don't let them tell you about them white guys. And it ain't necessarily true. It ain't necessarily true.
Yeah. You know, put my screen as the main screen so everybody can see my face.
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
Brother.
So comments. We had on the comments. Dreams are for sleepers, crying for weepers, and COVID showed us most Black parents ain't no teachers. David Banner is foolish. We wouldn't be the greatest country in the world without integration.
That's a lie.
Yeah, Blacks wanting to eat, shop, and live where they weren't wanted is the craziest thing on earth. Crying over spilled milk is what Black people do best, Dane. The irony.
That's not true. That is not true irony. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you came from. I don't know if you're black, white, yellow, green. But I will submit to you. I will. See, this is where me and somebody else on this panel get sideways. I will submit to you, Vulcan, Freshly, Enos, and many. I can't count how many black people I have had close personal friendships with who are very based, very reasonable, and they just grown men. But the ones you see on the internet, enema being the key part of that word, the internet, the ones you see on that is a psyop to lead you in a certain direction. And if you're dumb enough to believe that, shame on you. But you and I split the sheets there. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, if I could make one last comment on the integration and segregation thing.
Uh-oh, here comes the Irishman.
Well, what I would say is this is like, I think it could be good or bad for anybody involved. And I think the solution is freedom of association. And I think the best example of this is like, if we look at like church attendance, it is the case that, you know, in most churches in America, they're all almost 90+% racially homogenous, and it's purely by choice. And I think that speaks to a nature that people have. We like to worship with people who are similar to us, and I think that could translate to other aspects of society. So that would be my sort of middle ground take.
All right, cool. Appreciate that. All right, we got
A lot of public schools and a lot of colleges, they tell black men that they can't wear locks. Your natural hair. Dog, do you see that they say they can do anything to meet that they want to, put anything they want to without telling you the truth about it? Think about right now in America, what black people have influence over what happens to their children in general. What they feed them, what they see on TV, what they hear on the radio, any of those things. So by integrating, by even saying that you want civil rights, take the word, the operative part of the word is civil, right? You're saying that I just want you to treat me civilly, right? And anything that you do in life, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna make 100, right? Even if you're great. So if you fall short of civil, that means they treat a dog better than they treat you. I don't want civil rights. I want you to treat me like the God that I am. And so what I'm saying is that they take pieces of a person. Like they couldn't stop Malcolm X, so what they made him was an X on a hat. The same thing that they did to Jesus in Christmas. They took Christ out of Christmas and put an X. These are the mind games that we don't see. And to be honest with you, as our friendship grows, these are the types of things that keep me up at night, Cam, because I see it. And it's so clear.
So you would have wanted segregation to stay segregated?
I would have wanted black people to build their own shit. I would have wanted black people to praise their own God.
Okay.
I would want black people to teach their own kids. I'm not saying that we can't be together, but would you respect somebody who you allowed to stay in your house, whether you forced them to stay there or not? And what, they've been staying there for 50, 60, 70, 80 years, 100 years? It's time for us to get our own. If we have our own, then we don't have to beg for anything.
Okay.
See what happens with me, I end up with 1 foot on the pier, 1 foot on the boat when people start talking that kind of stuff.
Or the ability to create your own. Because I think that's a lot of suppression too that's not being mentioned, especially going back to slavery. It's not to say that we couldn't have our own. We didn't have the rights to have our own. You feel what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is that even within that, man, like I get.
Yeah, so going back to it, so let me go around. T Reason, do you agree or disagree with David Banner on this point?
I can get around what he's saying this time around. Out of everything he said, this is something I can get around. I understand where he's going with this, and I can elaborate later.
Okay, Dan, you agree, disagree with him?
Man, like I said, man, I got 1 foot on the boat, 1 foot on the pier. I agree in essence with what he's saying about taking responsibility and taking care of your own family, your own community, that sort of stuff. But a lot of stuff he's talking about when it comes to the kind of stuff Zaddy talking about we weren't allowed to X, then I have objective arguments against that sort of stuff that's not rooted in emotion. So I would disagree with him on that. But as far as like make our own way, heck, man, more power to you, brother.
Okay. Wicked, what about for yourself? You agree, disagree with him?
Yeah, I can kind of agree with it.
Okay, Tiger?
Yeah, I mean that's actually basically exactly what I said. My closing comment on the clip beforehand. So yeah, 100% agree.
Okay, and then Zaddy, what about for yourself?
I'm on the fence. I hear Dane. Like, you know, he can't go without bringing me up. It's my girlfriend, but I don't believe God put us here to
Hey,
hate each
Big
other.
Zaddy. I'm Big
My
Daddy. You Big
boy.
Zaddy.
Hey, you best not online. Stop it. But
Y'all something
no.
else, man.
Dude, you guys
No,
need to
hey
have
man, I'm
circle jerk
Sorry, I got
backstage
a
or what?
romance going on. I gotta let
listen,
y'all light
God did not
candles,
put us
man.
here to hate each other, man. That's where I stand. So
Say God didn't put us here to hate each other.
I
So
don't
you
think he
that's
say
why
said
I'm
you
always
anything
saying.
about hate.
We got to work together, brother.
I don't think he expressed hate in his statement, but that's what you heard. I
Oh,
don't think.
to not work against each other, to be separate. God put us here to be together. We're here on this blue rock, so we got to just make it happen. That's how I feel. So
Man, look, I'm tired of y'all setting up situations where me and T Reason agree. But I didn't see no hate in it. I didn't see no hate in it. Wasn't no hate in it. He was saying we need to band together. We need to build our own stuff. We need to take. I don't see no hate. That don't mean he hates me.
Hold on, is
and
Zaddy saying that
Tiger
there's
and
hate? Zaddy, are you saying that there was hate in what he just said?
hey, when T Reason said it, I took it out. So right, yeah. So yeah, I mean, if y'all want me to say that, yeah. But no, I clearly took that out. But yeah.
what,
No, there's no hate.
what I
There's no hate.
misunderstand.
We're here to work together. Yeah, you misunderstood a lot apparently. But no, we're here
What
we're
I
here to work with each other.
misunderstand. Clear it up for me because I don't want to misunderstand.
He's saying that he took the hate out when T Reason brought up the hate. He took the hate out of what he was saying.
Okay.
So
I'm just saying that what T Reason said that caused him to what? Take the hate out. I agree with T Reason. Is
okay, what
that
about Fresh?
it ain't hate.
Sorry, your thoughts on David Banner's comments?
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I agree with him fundamentally, not explicitly though. He had a few points where I wouldn't go so far as to agree with those. I would have a rebuttal to those. But overall, I think everyone being responsible for their own success outside of outside resistance, I definitely agree with that.
For what I'm taking from the video, I don't hear him saying so much as this is not necessarily regards to what you said, Freshly, but just I think maybe somewhat what you're saying and Dane. But I think that I didn't take what he was saying as being personal or individuals doing what they got to do. I thought he was saying as a community we got to do for self.
No, I agree.
Is that something? Is that a
fundamentally? I agree with
that matters in this conversation or no?
Yeah.
I mean, when you go to Massachusetts, especially Boston, guys like Uncle Tiger down here, Tiger is Irish. I'm Scotch Irish, so we're a little different, although we have a lot in common. But Uncle Tiger here, who's Irish, they were not even considered white people when they came over. And so they were in the slums, and there were signs that said, Irish need not apply. And that sort of thing. So the Irish in areas like Boston said, screw this. We're going to develop our own schools, our own neighborhoods. We're going to become the police, the judges, the lawyers, the city councilmen. So they got into that place and they freaking took over Boston and those other towns. The Kennedys, JFK, Teddy Kennedy, Robert Kennedy are perfect examples of it. They took over those institutional positions as Irishmen. And then they were able to advance their Irish people. That seems to be what this guy with Cam Newton's talking about, saying instead of going and saying, like feminist women go to men and say, please treat us the same and help us, instead of doing that, go and take over those institutions and build your own world. That's what the Irishmen did. I didn't get any of that influence, by the way.
Okay, cool. Enos, we can go to the next clip. Anybody have anything they want to say? On that point,
how could they tell the difference? Minus the ones with the red hair, and how could they tell the difference?
It was on.
It has to do with the phenotype.
Of course, you're going back to every other race being feminine by saying, "Hey, this."
I didn't say anything about feminine races.
With the Irish,
what?
Hey, no disrespect. How could they tell the difference?
Well, I was going to answer that. It has to do with a phenotype. Do you know what a phenotype is?
For the sake of the conversation, what's the phenotype, Dane?
Well, I would like to know if Zaddy actually knows what a phenotype is.
I don't know what a phenotype is. What is it? Please tell me.
But does Zaddy know? Because Zaddy is trying to mount an argument here, it seems like, based on ignorance. It looks like he's Googling right now. What is a phenotype?
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell that had to do with the point you made.
He's about
A phenotype, there are two.
Can recognize other white people from them.
There are two ways that human beings manifest themselves. There's genotypes, which has to do with the genome, the genes, but that doesn't always mean that the genes are going to manifest themselves in physical attributes. So the physical attributes are what's called a phenotype. A phenotype. So if someone takes the initiative to study different phenotypes, they can look at Uncle Tiger and they can say that dude's an Irishman because of the size of his head, the thickness of that push broom looking mustache, his height, his complexion, the shape of his eyes, his nose, and say that if that dude's not 100% Irish, he's close. It's his phenotype.
So in now, when you terms, different people from different cultures and different backgrounds and different.
You can do this with Africans as well. If you study the phenotypes of Africans, you can look and say they're descended from Ethiopians, they're descended from Kenyans, they're descended from people from the Congo. You can also sort that out, but you have to study the phenotype. So to answer his question, how do you know that they're Irish? Oh, you can absolutely tell that.
So you're telling me that the average person has studied this and can tell the difference. That's what I'm saying.
No. But the intelligent, educated person who is worthy of leadership has to study this and understood it before they started running their pie hole to make these declarations. They knew what they were talking about.
Listen, the way that they could tell back then is because they look different. That's the answer.
Well, the English, an English person.
The way they're shaped, their faces were shaped.
Hold on, y'all. I think we covered that.
Irish
phenotype
people
look different.
Phenotype, they look different than the people. That's the answer. They look different. Not all white people.
Yeah, like the English person can look and say,
hold on real quick. I think y'all already covered it. I think everybody got it. They look different phenotypes. I think we all got it. Logical Menace
Vulcan.
After Dark says, "Oh hell, I got black friend speech." Shake my head, Dane.
I don't even know what that means. But Vulcan, you're doing a fine job, Vulcan. You're doing a fine job. I know it's tough. But you're doing a fine job.
Work. Logical Menace After Dark says, "What was Chud's dad talking about?" What else we got?
Chud's dad. Who is that?
I think he's calling Dane Chud's dad.
Just like evolution, what have black folks created today? What does Wicked have to say?
Nothing worth hearing.
Let's hear from the guy with the wife protector on, an Ace Ventura pet detective.
Oh Lordy.
Who is that?
Black people don't want to be cops, judges, etc. The love for the streets is strong with those people.
Well, we have all of those. I disagree with that big time.
I do as well.
AK looks like a cop or biker and can't forget the barkeep.
He's obviously trolling T Reasons.
Oh, he's trolling hard. He's up in here trolling hard. Hold up. He might have to come on here so we can troll him back. I need to see what I'm talking to.
Make a comment real quick. After that, we're gonna go, it's gonna go to the next clip.
T-Reason.
Give you a great example.
T-Reason.
I told you, bro, if I had any power in the spaces that I wanted, it's coming. But like, bro, I would make you the Black Superman, bro. Like, period, dog. I don't want there to ever be a period where our children don't think that they're gods or that they're superheroes. Like, think about this. This is gonna mess y'all head up. A real superhero is a representation of a god. Wonder Woman is a god. Superman is a god. I love Black Panther. I don't want to be no cat. I want to be a fucking god. And what they're telling us that we can't be gods when the word hero comes from Heru, a black man. So the word comes from a black man and you can't be a real hero. And then watch this, it's gonna fuck y'all head up. Where did Superman get his power from? Come on, y'all in here. From the sun. White people are allergic to what? The sun. There's no way Superman could be white. A white scientist said that it's not possible. They run from the sun. Superman is supposed to be darker than the darkest night ever. These are the things that I notice, and it be fucking my head up, dog. I can't sleep. And I be like, don't nobody else see it? And then when I say it, Negro said it, I'm crazy. When I said something about that, I can't say it because last time I said they threw me off TV.
Okay, so
really,
want to go first, Zaddy? Just give your thoughts, man.
Hold
on that.
up.
Give your thoughts.
If I could, real quick, Vulcan. Look here, Vulcan.
Oh, he rolling up the sleeves. He just took the cap off.
You see this right here?
Yes, sir.
That's some skin cancer I had burned off last week.
Oh man.
From the sun.
He just needs to shut up. That's what I'm talking about. I feel attacked.
Sunlight, is that what
I feel like Zaddy now. I feel like I need a little love.
All right, so Zaddy, what do you think about David Banner's comments?
First of all, let's say that man cannot keep my name out his mouth, which is really weird. But anyways, no, man.
No, because you're so sexy. You're so sexy, man. You're so sexy.
You better stop. Listen.
No, you're so sexy.
I feel the same way. Like I don't feel the same way as David Banner. Man, listen, Superman, Vulcan, you know, Superman's my guy. Look, where are my keys at? Superman's my guy. And I like my Superman white. He's been white this whole time. Cool.
He just proved to you it's not possible, man.
Nah, man, who cares? It's a fictional character, bro. Who cares? Like, but so look.
What about Mickey Mouse?
This is the same argument.
Mine is a powerful tool, man.
Oh, y'all,
Mickey Mouse is a brother.
Everybody.
This is the same argument as that one chick being Helen of Troy. And it's like, yo, it's no, not Zendaya. It's a fictional character, regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, they have Egyptians as white people. They have John Wayne as a samurai. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like, it's art. I think just live. Let's all just live. But
that's your thoughts on Dave Banner's comments.
Yes. Yeah, man. I don't. It's Superman's always been white. He's white. That's our guy. We love Superman regardless. We don't care what color it is. He don't care. He don't come to the hood, but we fuck with him. I mean, mess with him. Sorry, Presley.
All right, so I'll read this comments is on the screen real quick. Logical Minutes After Dark. We are real people, and David Banner is talking about cartoons. Cartoons, my guy. What the hell? It's a fictional character, bro. And so, okay, now Wicked, what's your thoughts on David Banner's comments?
My first thought is to say that superheroes are gods is just mind blowing. Like who worships superheroes? Like they're just supposed to be the good guy in a situation. Like there's no ever been a comparison that a superhero is a god. And not that tell me a superhero that's portrayed as God.
Well, hold on. I mean, I don't know if y'all read comic books, but you probably don't want to go down that route.
You don't want to go down that route.
I don't know, but from superheroes that I've heard of, I've never heard them portrayed as God.
I haven't heard of many.
I would love to engage with Wicked on that, but it might make me end up on the same side as Zaddy.
I'm not saying that I'm right, but from what I'm saying is from the superheroes that I've heard of, I've never heard of them being portrayed as a god.
Yeah.
So that's the part to me where like I'm a little confused of like how you see a superhero because he's talking about Superman because he was talking about Superman.
But yeah, okay. Anything else you want to add to that, Wicked?
Did I say that again?
Anything else you want to add? You mentioned the part about that part, but anything else you want to add to that, or?
I mean, that's just about it to me because I've never seen somebody worship a superhero as a god. You know what I mean? I can understand worshiping in their actions of what they do, but as a god, to me, that's wild.
Okay. Tiger, what about yourself? You agree, disagree with David Banner?
Well, I don't think that people. I mean, perhaps we could say that superheroes could be compared to demigods, right? Which would be like the manifestation of a, earthly man with unearthly powers.
Just so y'all know,
But
not all superheroes are human.
sorry,
Not all superheroes are human. So you guys might not be well versed enough on this to get into this.
well, I'm confused. Are we comparing superheroes to gods, or are we not?
Well,
They
Zeus
are
and
compared to
Hercules were
gods.
God. They were gods. Zeus
Their
and Hercules
origin.
were
I would say
gods.
Some
demigods.
superheroes are actually written as gods. That's what I said. You guys it's okay, but
They
your
were
argument
worshipped.
don't have any real base in I think you might need a little bit more information.
Well, he's talking about Superman. Like I said, there might be other superheroes out there, but he's talking about
Hold on a second.
Superman.
I'm confused.
Superman is based off Jesus.
Superman, I wouldn't have said
Superman's
anything.
based off of Jesus. That's if you look at the writers who wrote about
Okay,
Superman,
really
they're
quick.
basing it
Am
off
I
Jesus.
confused? Did I misunderstand the question? Are we comparing superheroes to gods, or are we not?
Well, right now what we're doing is that you're just giving your perspective on whether you agree with David Banner or anything you want to add to that. You feel free to add it.
Yeah, I don't think that superheroes were ever meant to be compared to gods. You could call them demigods, or even gods in human form, perhaps, which would be a demigod. But like, I don't think we're saying that Superman is a god. I mean, the whole premise of Superman is that he's from a different planet, and because he's from a different planet, he exists within different limitations.
Are you saying that gods are only a human thing?
No, I'm saying that Superman,
you guys heard of Thor?
because he's from a different
God of
planet,
Thunder?
he has superpowers on Earth, but he's actually normal on the planet from which he originates.
Thor, God of Thunder.
Yeah, that would be. We'll see. Now that's Nordic mythology. That's different. That's not a superhero like from a comic book.
Well, I'll say this. I will share this, and I want to geek out on comic book stuff right here. But one of the Lex Luthor's criticisms of Superman is that he's a god amongst us, and he doesn't like that. That's one of his reasons why he critiques Superman. He says we're ants to you. I don't like that.
Yeah, but can't Superman
that
be
just
like?
Makes him a more advanced being than humans from
but
Earth.
Can't
make
he
him a
be?
god.
Can't he be like?
Seen as, perceived as, oft worshipped as a god.
Who worships
what you're
Superman?
saying is you don't agree with that, and I'm okay with that. But your actual statement is saying no one does.
Yeah, actually, the boys in the
well,
cartoon,
perhaps ignorant people see Superman as a god, but if you know the lore of Superman, he's just a different humanoid from a different planet.
Well, yeah,
and because
that's part of what makes Superman who he is he has godlike powers, and he possesses abilities.
He has powers to us because on his planet that's just the norm.
But there's people who perceive his powers to be godlike, and
but God can't be defeated by kryptonite.
Perception is
that comes from your. But see, you guys are only centering it around your own personal example. So what we're talking
it's
about
not a personal. It's literally the Superman lore.
It is.
This is how the character was
when
written.
you go back to the Superman lore, and you go back to when people were standing in line and buying comic books. The act of what these people were doing, it was almost as though they were worshiping Superman. So this is what we're talking about.
Is Superman from a
idolization
planet, or is
of
he a
Superman is
god?
what we're talking about, and we're talking about his actual ability.
I don't understand. Are you saying
it's
real
not from your
people
own
worship
personal
him as a
religious
god?
belief? It's from what a large majority of people have done in the history of the Superman comic book culture. All of these things.
Wait, Uncle Tiger, are you saying, is your statement? Let me stillman you, because I think. Are you saying that real people in reality worship Superman as a god, or don't worship Superman as a god? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm saying that the lore of Superman is such that Superman is a humanoid from a different planet who got separated from his home planet, right? Like he ended up in Earth. I can't remember the exact lore of how he got here, but like he's here. And because he's here and has the qualities of a person from his planet, we as humans in the lore view him as like a higher being.
Right. So your original statement was,
like
I
the
don't
same
think
as
he was
God.
meant to be worshipped as a god, but he's written that way. When you say meant, what outside of how he's written, his creators, who's controlling his story, when they write that in writing, I'm not certain how you are using the lore to disprove the lore. One thing is
Because the
wrong.
lore is it's more of a sci-fi thing than it is like a spiritual thing.
So would you say he'd be more of a deity?
No, I would just say he is a humanoid, just like humans on planet Earth, but because he's from a different planet with different elements, different environment, we misplace him on our planet, and we, as finite humans who are not used to his planetary norms, would perceive him as super or demon.
Well, let me say this real quick, just to kind of clear it up for the comic book geeks. I'm not going to decide who's right or wrong here, but just Superman in a nutshell, he lived on the planet Krypton that was destroyed, you know, and on that planet, they're regular like us. They have a different kind of sun. He comes to the yellow sun of Earth, and now he has powers. If we were to go to his sun, maybe we'd have powers too. I don't know, but you know, they were just regular humanoids on their planet until he came over here with the yellow sun. So that's when he got his powers. So yeah. And I think it says Logical Menace says Marvel needs to make a character called White Man and let a black person play him.
They might as well.
The guy with the white protector on. Great commentary. Talk that comic book talk, Freshly Snipes. They don't know. They don't know who they talking to.
Yeah, I was getting pussy when I was younger. That's why.
Superman can die from a green rock. LOL.
That's what I don't understand. How can he be a god? How can he be a god when he can die from kryptonite?
You might be able to say that to anybody else on this panel, but not your boy.
Yeah. So going back into it again, does anybody have any other comment they want to make on the super? Well, I want to say this real quick. There's a comic book. 2 points. One, The Boys. Anybody watch the show The Boys? Homelander. You know, he actually.
Hold on. Are you calling me boy?
Don't open that can of worms.
So
that's racist.
On the show The Boys, Homelander did want to get, you know, worshipped like a god, and then a good comic book series about Superman and him turning evil is called Injustice: Gods Among Us, and the whole thing is Batman, and kind of, you know, plays into the whole thing of like, this guy goes bad, he's like basically a god amongst us. So it's a pretty good series. It's called Injustice: Gods Among Us.
There's literally a comic book called Gore the God Butcher, where he's going around killing guys who are not strong enough to defeat him because the worship is waning. They're all
like I said, I'm not denying that there's comic books, but he's using Superman as an example of being a god. This is where I'm having my confusion, because like God can't be defeated by kryptonite. Like an actual god isn't going to be defeated by something so minute. A god would be a creator of something that's not defeated.
Well, I think more so what he's trying to say is he's actually speaking to the people who don't have a faith, because there's people out here who don't understand who God really is, and they may see Superman, and to those people that is a god. Because
hold on real quick. Where's your definition of God coming from?
Well, I would just say, if like you have a definition of a god, like me, that would be something that would be omnipotent, beyond time and space, and omniscient, and like omnipresent. That's something that's all powerful. If that's something that's all powerful, how are you going to defeat something all powerful?
Well, let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick, because this is more on the moderation side, just to clear up terminology here. And you can put that comment back up. We didn't read it yet, if you want to. But so there's omnipotent God, right? And then there's demigods. Even in the Bible would say the sons of the angels, the angels mixed with the daughters of whatever God or whatever, and they created the heroes, the renowned men of old, depending on Nephilim, whatever you want to say. So there's places, angels or whatever it could be considered to be lowercase g's in the pantheon of gods out there. So I would say that there is some room for it. But I think that we're making a distinction between the omnipotent God and then people who are just so powerful they'd be considered gods.
So there could be people that are godlike, but they wouldn't be God.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely, I would say they wouldn't be.
That's
God,
two different. Yeah, but I wouldn't consider somebody who's godlike to be God.
But
That's
even
two
Marvel
different
and DC,
things.
there's a
So,
highest
like,
tier
Phil
God.
Bannon never said God singular. He said God.
Yeah.
But even in Marvel and DC, there's a highest level, the one above all, and then the presence. I think we call them DC. Those are considered the omnipotent gods.
Well,
I mean,
I think
perhaps
he's
it's
referring
like
to for this
this is just
conversation. I think
silly
he's referring to
anyway.
many
You know,
gods.
You got everybody
obviously
talking at
Superman's
one
not a
time.
What he's
god.
trying to elaborate on.
Who
But yeah,
cares?
sorry. Yeah. Check the Vulcan Wicked. So yeah, we can go to the next clip. Anybody got any closing comment? Anybody want to make while we get into the next one? That was a good one.
No, yeah. Again, I wouldn't agree or disagree. I'm just
And look at
going
what
with
they're
the
saying
fact that he
about
said it's like
what happened to
Superman. That's the part to me that was really,
I got you.
you know what I mean? Because again, I don't know much
personally-
about it to know.
It may be, guys. It may be because it may be because I'm an old guy. Look at the gray in my beard. But the whole argument over DC or Marvel comics and whether or not they're gods just seems crazy to me. Just be honest with you. So I'm just saying that
when you were a young guy.
Well, I'm not
I'm
gonna
just
say
saying that I'm sitting here in South Alabama looking at y'all very condescendingly. Hopefully y'all don't care. Hopefully y'all are not as sensitive as Zaddy and y'all don't care what I think about you, which would really be a credit to your manliness. But I'm just saying that I'm sitting here thinking, my.
Zaddy thought you were going to say credit to your race. He thought you were going to say credit to
There is no credit to race. Like, I'm a white guy. This is an argument I have with the Chum the Builder types because I know a good many people like that. And they're like, white nations. Why can't we have a white nation? The Japanese have their nations. The Mexicans have their nations. Why can't we have a white nation? And I'm like, what credit is there to my lack of melanin? They can't answer that question. So, yeah, credit to your race, I think is crazy. But anyway.
Everything that I do in my life will always be for black people. But I
You can't see
realize
it,
that it is important
it's
for me to do for me. And those who see it can come along. Those who don't have to suffer. And they will suffer until they see if my way is the right way, it's the way to go. But Cam, it's the best time in history. Why everybody's scared and why so many wild things is happening in the world. If we had our shit together, it wouldn't take but a couple of us to put our money together, bro. We can go buy and do anything. We can go buy up Ghana. We can go any of these places, buy land here. We can go back to Mississippi.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Point blank period. No sugar code, no nothing. Are you a racist?
Am I racist? No. You have to have power in order to be a racist. I may be a bigot. I mean, I might be that if you want to call me something. I'm not, but I'm just saying. What people won't tell you about the word racist is in order for you to be a racist, I can't stop white people from shopping at no grocery store, can I? I can't stop them from going to no club or no school, can I? I can't be racist. I don't have no fucking power. You can't be black and be racist if you know the true root of the word. I study every day of my life. There's no way black people can be racist. Now, if you want to look at the word racist in the way that most people think of it, which I don't, Marcus Garvey said, and this blew my head off. He said he doesn't have a problem with white people's racism. He has a problem with black people's lack of racism. If we thought of ourselves and put ourselves first the way that they do, then we would be just fine. But we put everybody before we put ourselves in anything, dude. So maybe we should be.
Do you have any relationships, partnerships?
Your mic's muted, Volk.
I'm tripping. Yo,
Vulcan.
I think everybody's muted.
Yeah, so let's
Vulcan.
start. Yes, sir.
Vulcan. I'm the muter. I'm the muter. Man, everybody on this panel tonight stealing my spotlight.
Yeah, I just want to get a little bit of your swag just one time.
No, you have to gain about 150 pounds to get my swag.
Oh, man. So, Zaddy, for you, do you agree with David Banner's definition of racism? You agree, disagree with him?
It sounded like there was more going to that, but no. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, 100%.
You agree?
Yes.
Okay, Uncle Tiger, do you agree with his definition of racism?
No.
Wicked, do you agree with his definition of racism?
Absolutely not.
T-Reason, do you agree with his definition of racism?
I know what he's getting at, and if he says systematic, then I agree with him.
He didn't.
Well, he was saying that a black person can't be racist, and that
systematically, no.
Okay. And then Dane, how about for you? You agree with him? Disagree with him?
Man, you even got to ask me that question. This is the first time I've been on this podcast. You know, I don't believe. No, man, that's crazy.
Freshly, what about for you?
No.
Okay, so we got Zaddy.
Version of racism.
I got a question for T Reason.
Well,
So would you say?
Hold on, real quick. I want Zaddy to make his case of and then you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No,
Zaddy, you want to make your case? You're the one who says that you agree with David Banner about black people can't be racist. Do you want to share why?
Oh, the same reason he said, but no. Go ahead, Wicked. Go ahead and ask the question.
Okay, so real quick. So let's say you own a business.
Wicked, this towards T Reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, this can be for both of them because they both have the same answer. Okay, so let's say you own a business and it's all black people, and I go to apply for your business and you don't hire me because I'm white. That wouldn't be racist.
I would agree.
That's
with
power.
You,
so hold on a second. Hold on a second. Wait. Stop real quick. You just said you agree with me, but 2 seconds ago you said black people can't be racist because of power. You have the power. You just said you're not going to hire me because of my race, and then you just agreed with me. So which one is it?
Well, hold on real quick, Wicked. Was that for both of them?
That's not the
just for
that you think it is. Because
Wicked, you want to get both of their answers first?
Because the hypothetical doesn't mean it's actually happening. So just because you,
what are you talking about? There's so you can prove that it's not happening. That there aren't black businesses that aren't hiring white people.
Hold on, Wicked. Did you want to get both of their answer? Or did you want to just?
Well, they both have the same answer. I mean, I'd like to get both their answers, but I feel like they're both gonna have the same answer. So
do we ask? Are you gonna ask? We gonna ask Zaddy now?
I'll ask Zaddy if you have the same thing. If you own a business,
I haven't even got to really expound upon what I'm saying.
Yeah, you got to expand about me. I thought you was asking a question.
When I could literally shut this whole argument down right now.
Go ahead. You could try.
Okay, so we're not getting Zaddy. We're going over T Reason again. Got it.
T Reason.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like he's spitting out hypotheticals, like, but do you have any?
But a hypothetical is to test your logic. A hypothetical tests your logic to see if you're consistent.
It would have to be something that actually took place. So can you prove what you're saying actually took place? Show me an example.
I can guarantee. I can guarantee you.
What example can you name where it actually?
I literally just gave you an
hypothetical.
So I have an example. Hold on a second. Just because you do you know what a hypothetical is? Do you know the purpose of a hypothetical?
Absolutely.
So what is it? So if I'm testing your logic, and if that is something that is plausible happen, so you're going to tell me, hold on a second. Okay, but listen, if you're going to this world that has not hired somebody because they're white, you're going to say that hasn't happened?
You're going to tell me that it has?
I can guarantee you that somewhere it has happened.
Can I go a step further? I'll go a step further, guys.
Show me an
example.
example.
I'll go a step further and say this is your last option, where that white guy can go somewhere else and get a white community and get a job. No problem.
I'm not saying that he couldn't go somewhere else.
No, you're 100% correct. Yes, you're correct. But is this?
But he can't prove that it happened, though. He's only.
You can't prove that it doesn't happen.
No, but you can't prove that it can. You're saying that it does.
Neither one of you can prove
saying that it does, and you should have to be able to prove that it has happened, and you don't have any examples. You don't have a single example.
Not in airlines. T Reason.
Are you that ignorant and dumb to realize that?
To prove that.
No, I'm not.
You're saying
you just don't have any proof.
His last option.
You're just speaking out of your ass right now because you can't prove it. You're just saying
you can't be that ignorant. You can't be that ignorant.
You can't prove it.
T Reason.
Neither can you. It's a hypothetical. You don't have to prove a hypothetical. You can't be
T Reason.
Come on, dude.
T Reason.
Mute everything and start it all over me.
Things he's talking about are things that have actually happened that can be.
But what you're going off on the wrong question. Is it his only option? Is this his last option? That's what you're going.
No. It doesn't matter whether it's his only option or not.
Matter. No, you're correct.
Then you don't understand.
It does matter if it's his only
T-Reason.
I'm just testing the consistency of his logic.
Cool.
Plain and simple. That's the point of a hypothetical.
You can't prove it. But you can't.
So hold on a second. So hold on. Why do I have to prove this?
Because
do you know what a hypothetical is?
Because in order for that to refute what David Banner was saying, you'd have to prove that it was happening. In order to refute his argument,
that's not how that works.
Okay, so real quickly, we're gonna reset it. I want everybody to still be to get their point off, but right now we got to just add a little bit of structure to it real quick. So we have Wicked and T Reason. They have a point that they're discussing right now. I'm sure Tiger and everybody wants to get in as well. So we started from the top again. Wicked, you asked the question. And the question originally, my understanding of the question is you created a hypothetical situation where a white person was turned down because they were white by a black establishment. And you said, would this be racism, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, since we're talking about definitions, we're talking about the hypotheticals, we're talking about definitions with words, right? So I'm saying,
well, yes, I'm using their definition, which would be add power to it. My definition of racism doesn't include power. My definition of racism would just be discriminating against a person because of the color of their skin.
So let me ask this
question, racism to me.
Because I don't want to waste too much time on this. If there's something much, there might be something to waste time on here, not waste time to talk about. But are you saying that T reason that racism, a black person can be racist in a hypothetical, but just not in the reality?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, to piggyback on David Banner's point, what he's saying is it's not possible for a black person to be systemically racist against a white person. And he gave a hypothetical. He didn't give actual proof of it happening. He's saying, well, in a fairy tale land, under certain
that's not a fairy tale land.
This could happen, but he doesn't have actual
this
proof.
Could happen.
In a hypothetical, though, but
white people being
Teresa, I get what you're saying. We're making a distinction between hypothetical and a real life situation. But in the hypothetical, at least, before we get to the real life situation, if that were to occur in the real world, would that be a case of a black person being systematically racist?
Well, like
in the hypothetical world, obviously.
It's more to it than that. That's the first layer.
100% agrees more to it.
That's peeling back the top layer. It's deeper than
absolutely
just the top. So when you talk about systemic, it's not just surface level. He's thinking surface level. Well, black people can hire white people, so obviously they can be systemic racist too. It's deeper than that. It's embedded in the laws. It's embedded in the
but I know. But in the hypothetical he gave, would that?
No, that's not enough. That's just like the top layer. That's peeling back the top layer on the onion.
But that top layer, just make sure we're clear, that top layer would not be an example.
He still would have he still would have a single ground to stand on.
Okay, so that wouldn't be so. So if a black establishment turned down a white person because they were white in their hiring process, you're saying that wouldn't be an example of systemic racism act out against white people?
No. And then also, what I'm also saying is he doesn't even have an example. That's what I'm also saying. On top of no, he don't even have that example.
Okay, got you. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. You're saying even in the hypothetical, so it doesn't matter whether it's hypothetical or not. You're saying even whether it's hypothetical or not, it's not a good example of.
It's more to it than that. It's compounded.
So just to be clear real quick, you're going to tell me that right now, any example that you give in a hypothetical has to actually happened or has happened before? Because that's not how hypotheticals work.
In order for it to apply to the conversation and be relevant information, right now you're just speaking hypotheticals, which is irrelevant to relevant information when he's talking about.
Well, no, because guess what? There is actually a strong possibility that my hypothetical could happen.
You can guess. I don't like to guess.
There's no guessing. There's no guessing.
Guess what? You said guess what? I don't like to guess. You're guessing.
I didn't say guess. When did I guess?
You said guess what?
Well, when I said guess what, that it could actually happen. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
You're guessing.
You obviously don't understand the words of how terms are used.
Yeah, I think y'all were able to go at it a little bit. Tiger, you got a comment you want to make on this?
Yeah, T Reason is demanding a real life example of this, and I think a reasonable example of this would be, I mean, there's plenty, but the first one that comes to my mind would be United Airlines, which is, their stated policy is that we are ignoring, applications from white pilots. So is that racism? Is that systemic racism, or is that just like, collateral damage because of like slavery or some shit?
And then that question is for who? Zaddy and Tyrese?
It's for me, but like,
okay, go ahead.
So then my question would be, what are the percentages of white pilots that American Airline has?
How is that relevant?
So hold on. So real quickly,
this is why you don't understand what you're talking about. That's the
whole
understand. Point.
No, you don't understand.
Because if you're systemically being racist against white pilots, they're going to be the minority group.
Okay. You
don't understand minority versus majority. You don't even understand the simple things that give you the privileges you have in America.
You let me know when you're done, Pratt.
You don't even understand the basics. You don't even understand the basics of systemic racism.
Reason.
The whole reason why we're having this
your
conversation.
definition of racism is prejudice plus power. Is that correct?
Reasons. Can I offer something? In a debate, when someone asks a clarifying question, it's cool to just answer the question so we can continue the conversation.
I don't know what question you're trying to say that I should answer.
He asked you for clarification on how that's relevant. If you knew how it was relevant or how it wasn't relevant,
it's relevant because we're talking about systemic racism.
Right.
So in order to prove systemic racism, blacks would have to have the majority first.
Okay.
So do they have the majority?
Which is exactly the example I gave you when blacks had a majority in the example I gave you, but that wasn't good enough.
Ping-pong between Tiger and Wicked on who I'm debating here. Based on Tiger's argument, he doesn't have a ground to stand on because he said American Airlines is now somehow discriminating against white pilots, which I don't believe, but let's say I grant him that, and they are doing that, then we have to look at the numbers. And
they are doing that.
What is the first of all? Well, let's say you're right. Let's say you are right. Let's look at the percentage of current pilots in American Airlines. Is it more than 50% or less than 50% white?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
If the United Airlines stated policy is that we're going to discriminate against white applicants as pilots, that is your definition of systemic racism, which is prejudice plus power. That is your definition. That satisfies every bit of the criteria that you asked for. It does.
All right, T Reason, what's your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? In short,
absolutely. He's telling me my own criteria when I just told him my criteria.
You laid it out. Tell me where I'm wrong.
I literally just said, okay, well, what's the minority of the?
He's added more criteria.
That is irrelevant
because I already said that's the top layer. So if that's the top layer, then we have to figure out other parameters that you obviously don't know what they are because you obviously have no clue. Because you obviously don't understand
that
privilege.
In order to be racist, there must be prejudice plus power. And I'm telling you that the United Airlines has the power and they are prejudiced in saying,
you're talking about. Those people that
you let me know when you're done spurging, okay?
The people who are making that decision that to no longer hire white pilots, what color are those people? Are they black? Or are they white? Let me make it simple for you. Can you answer that question with a straight answer?
It's irrelevant. Don't you understand? It's irrelevant.
It was funny is my example actually meets all of your criteria.
Systemically racist.
Well, hold on.
Can I weigh in?
I want to get Dane and Freshly in on this.
Can I weigh in?
You got to stop me.
Freshly, you want to go before or after Dane?
Let me go.
This is getting out of hand.
Okay, go ahead, Dane.
No, you don't. You don't want to go after me, Freshly, because I might pee all over the seat. You might want to get in there and use it while the seat's clean, man.
If I come in after you and you peed on the seat, I'm gonna bring your ass back in there. You're gonna clean it up.
What are we talking about right now?
I'm in this weird situation right now because theoretically, philosophically, I stand with Tiger. Even though he's not very good looking, I stand with Tiger. And I understand what he's saying. What was that?
I'm more handsome than you. Go ahead.
Hey,
you're younger than me, but get back with me in about 20-something years, man. Anyway, but so I stand and I see the problem is I understand the argument Tiger's making, and it's a 75% good argument. But at the same time, T Reason up here, shut up, T Reason. T Reason up here, when he's asking who is it that's made that standard that, you know, we're going to basically disregard the applications of white pilots, the fact that that's probably white people, that does hold some weight though, right, Tiger? So you could claim that white pilots are being discriminated against by white business owners of airlines. So, I mean, I can see where both of y'all have some grounds to stand on to say, yeah. This airline's policy is discriminatory. It is racially based. It's racial discrimination. It's racism. But is it racism from black people?
Well,
So
no,
I can see
that's
where
not the
Tiger
question.
has
The
a
point
stance, but at the
is that
same
it's
time, T
supposed to
Reason
be
can say, what was
is
that?
racism prejudice plus power, which is T
No,
Reason's definition of
no.
racism.
See, that's what's messed up. That's what is messed up. Is I agree with
That's
you
what
on
I'm
that
saying.
point. Okay, prejudice plus power is what oppression is. That's not what racism is. That's what oppression is. When you are dealing with power,
I agree,
and you're using power to like discriminate against people based on race or gender or national origin or
So
whatever,
then you agree
that
with
is
me?
oppression.
No.
That is not racism. You can be racist against
Or what I
someone
said
with
was
absolutely no
systemic racism.
power to oppress them. So I agree with Tiger, but T Reason up here when he
My
asks,
original point is
but
that it's
who set
systemic
that
racism, and that's
policy
true
against
for
the
me.
white pilots that would, I don't know the racial makeup of the airline's executive board, but it's reasonable to say probably white people. So that really wouldn't be an example
Which
of black
demonstrates
racism
that
against
it's
white
not
pilots.
racism because of prejudice plus power. That
This is
actually
exactly why I had a better
demonstrates
example.
how that sentiment is incorrect.
Wicked.
Because it could have been anybody.
Wicked. I need you to go cook some spaghetti like a good Italian and let the.
Why am I surprised that you want food?
Talking about, hey, he said spaghetti. I want some
Why
spaghetti too.
am I
Just saying,
surprised
I
you
was
want
just
Hey,
food?
Daddy,
don't hate that man.
You should be
white
getting like a
person don't have
protein shake and like a metabolizer booster, not spaghetti.
Seriously though.
Okay, so
Wicked can cook though. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, so real quickly, Freshly, go ahead and make your point you wanted to say.
Perfect example
just
of
lay
how
out what
if we engage in these subjects,
and I'm gonna answer a question.
if we
Well,
engage
lay it
with
out.
these subjects, if we engage with these subjects with logic, we can find out that there are bits and pieces where we all have common ground and we can agree with stuff with one another. We may not agree completely, but we can agree in part if we set aside our emotions and we look at the facts. Because I partly agree with Tiger, but at the same time, T Reason does have some valid
Appreciate
points.
that,
So
Appreciate
that's just
All
me.
right.
You add extremely
Yeah,
to that.
Freshly,
You can
go
say
ahead, Freshly.
extremely with that. Extremely valid.
Someone created a hypothetical where they set up the parameters of the hypothesis, the theory, the conjecture. And someone else said, nah, I don't want to abide by those. Just to answer the question, Wicked Dreams, in your hypothetical, that is localized systemic racism. Yes. Actually, it's localized systemic racism. That person in your hypothetical is being discriminated against by people within power, localized power, because of their skin color. So, I just want to answer that question. Now, to what David Banner was talking about, again, I fundamentally agree, but I don't implicitly agree. I don't agree with everything he said. Actually, I take that back. You don't need power to be racist. You need power
That's my whole
to
point.
discriminate.
Right.
You need power to discriminate. You don't need power to have something against somebody because of how they look.
That was my whole point of what I began with. My definition of racism would be you just discriminate somebody against the color of their skin. It doesn't matter whether you have power or not, because I mean that's to say, like, you would have to, by your logic, you would have to say that Chud the Builder is not racist because that guy holds no power.
He got the power to take a life.
So do you.
So does everybody.
So do you. So do you. So does that mean you're racist?
I don't walk around with a gun on me.
That's irrelevant. That is completely irrelevant. That is completely irrelevant. You just said that he has the power to take a life.
Are you that ignorant? What are you talking about? How can I shoot somebody if I don't have my gun on?
But
he has it on his person.
Is not the only way to take a life. T Reason, shooting someone is not the only way to take a life. You have the same power to take a life as anybody walking this way.
No, you just, so you're telling me, so Freshly, let's break this down. You're telling me right now, someone with a gun has the same level, a disarmed person has the same level of force and the same ease of access to take a life as somebody in possession of a gun. Is that what you're saying right now?
That's irrelevant. That is irrelevant.
That's not what anybody said.
Absolutely irrelevant.
That's a
That's
choice.
not what you said.
Hold on, he asked freshly.
T-Reason. That's a choice that you're making. But you could also, by any means, whether you had a gun or not, you could hit somebody with your car. If you punch somebody the right way, you could kill them. You have the same ability to take a life as anybody.
But in your mind, that's the same as someone with a gun. You're saying though that's an equal playing field. Somebody
It's irrelevant.
unarmed.
That's completely irrelevant.
It's absolutely relevant because he does it on a consistent basis.
So listen to what you just said. You just said he has the power to take a life.
I don't have the power to take a life because I don't carry a gun around.
And he walks around with mace on him. So he has weapons on him.
Your claim that you don't have the power to take a life because you don't walk around with.
I'm saying is it equal? I'm saying is it the same?
You keep moving the goalposts. Now you're moving the goalposts.
This is what I'm trying to tell you guys.
I understand. Let me just ask you this. Okay. Your first statement was one thing. Are you moving on to another statement?
My statement is, do you think a person with a gun has the same level of force to take a life as someone without a gun? That's my point.
I'm not asking if you want to amend the statement.
Yeah,
I think amending your statement. So you said one thing, and we responded to that, and then you amended that statement. Are you amending your initial statement to mean something else? Then we can answer that statement. But your initial statement, what we said, you do have the power, the same power as anybody to take a life. Just because you don't take it with a gun.
So you're alluding the fact that he has a gun on him consistently.
I'm not alluding.
But that
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You're the one moving the goalposts.
Reason.
No, this is we don't have to stay here too much longer. We don't have to stay here too much longer. I think it's different conversations. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So let's move on to the next thing. So first get these comments out the way. Let's get these comments out the way. Logical Minutes After Dark. Something tells me Uncle Tiger got a dirty Harry with the kryptonite bullet next to him right now.
What does that even mean?
I think he's talking about a wireless hole puncher. I think he's talking about a dirty Harry, a 357.
Y'all wheezy in there.
Yeah. I thought Zaddy was Dub DDG's brother. We need to get some money off that. Did anyone catch the fallacy in what David Banner said? Let's go, Wicked. Get on, no reasons head. Silly owning much T reason.
Sea lining,
whatever. Let's be real. Out of millions of people, you don't think a black business owner has never done that? T reason, you look like you do that hypothetically. Bradley Snipes looks like he's ready to jump in the melee.
Bring him up here. Get him on the panel.
LOL.
He's running his mouth right now.
Yeah.
Hey, T-Reason, if you had a business, would you hire me?
Absolutely.
You're a fucking liar.
Don't do that. You asked that man a question, he answered it. You can't call him a liar.
T-Reason, picture Collie getting spanked right now.
I'm dying to know who this Logical Menace guy is.
Mom spaghetti, LOL. Shout out to Eminem. I don't walk around with the gun on me. T-Reason, you should. Okay, so let's get to the last.
What I'm trying to say, it's a difference between a person who consistently walks around with a gun on them versus someone who's disarmed most of the time.
If I may,
we're trying to move on now. Will you stop prattling and let Vulcan move it on?
I think I think I can maybe clear this up real quick. So initially, what was said was you mentioned that the power to take life, right? And then I think it was Uncle Tiger, maybe Wicked, that said
I was referring.
We all have that power to take life, basically.
I said that.
We all have the power to take life, right? Do you agree or disagree that we all have the power to take life?
I was referring to the gun.
Yeah, I know.
At the end of the day, they can try to.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Me down to okay, everybody can kill somebody. No, what I'm trying to say is it's a difference between someone who goes out
levels that degrees to power.
It puts himself gun and puts himself in harm's way.
Got you.
How often are we required to respond to what you meant to say and not what you actually said?
I mean, if you can use context clues and you know who Chud is, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
We can't use context clues. This is
but then when
T-Reason is exactly why Chud the Builder exists.
Then that's your fault for still trying
clues
to hold me back to what I'm saying.
Tiger.
And to use context, I mean, I don't have the ability to fully understand what was said, and I need to.
So then you should tell him that he cannot be using hypotheticals because it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I don't think you really know what a hypothetical is or the purpose of them. I really don't.
Tiger, can I say something?
And he wasn't.
I've been a little asleep. If I could say something, can I say something real quick, Vulcan?
Yeah, okay, this will be the last clip, y'all. Go ahead, Dane. Say what you were just saying.
Okay. Tiger, you said T-Reason is why guys like Chud the Builder, which is an oxymoron, exist. I would contradict that. I would contrary that. I would challenge that by saying no. T-Reason is not the reason guys like Chud the Builder exist. Chud the Builder exists because guys like Zaddy over there who make absolutely emotional but non-logical claims. T-Reason, if I can speak up and defend my nemesis friend, brother over here, T-Reason, he has an interest in logical support, empiricism. That's not why these fools, these idiots like Chud the Builder, if you want to call him that, exist. It's guys who make these emotional, you're just a bad patient if you do this, exist.
Okay,
like
Zaddy.
Dane, I will say one thing.
I was being hyperbolic.
Dane, I will say one thing. Chud is building a good case against himself.
Yes, he's building a good case against himself. And for the record, let me go on record to say, I hope the son of a bitch goes to prison. Go to prison. Because if you
Appreciate
don't.
that, Dane. But yeah, so real quick, logical minutes after dark. Ouch. You know what I meant looking at. Get him out of here. All right, so yeah, the next clip.
Of other cultures outside of.
Fuck yeah. Okay. Dude, let me tell you something. When I hire, I look for black people first. But the real truth is I need the most qualified people. The company is black because I'm black. I'm able to hire who and what I want to, qualified people. I look at something.
Of other cultures, relationships, partnerships, alignment of other cultures outside of.
Fuck yeah. Okay. Dude, let me tell you something. When I hire, I look for black people first. But the real truth is I need the most qualified people. The company is black because I'm black. I'm able to hire who and what I want to by the success of the company. I don't really give a fuck who works. My preference is to be around my people, yes, but we have to be successful first. That was part of the problem with my career. Every time I was close, bro, I would go off and try to save the world. You know, I'll give you a great example. You know, people talk about all the things that I did for Katrina and you know, how admirable of a man I was. And I did, they say, arguably the biggest urban relief concert in history for Katrina. But guess what I ended up finding out? Yeah, we raised right around $1 million. Katrina was $1 billion problem. Even if all the rappers in the world had put their money together for Katrina, it wasn't shit we could do. Nothing we could do. And then black people, we put more pressure on our rappers and our entertainers, our football players and basketball players than we do on the motherfuckers who getting paid to do that kind of shit. But I realized I used to think that God was telling me to do that. God didn't tell me to do that shit. My ego told me to do that. It ain't my responsibility to save nobody but my ass. And if I have children, then you brought them in the world. You're a lot better at that than I am. I ain't quite. Yes, sir. But I'm gonna catch up, bro. I practice a lot.
Boy, listen,
if you know what I'm saying.
I understand
but
that.
you're a king. Yes. Don't ever let nobody. Don't ever let people who don't have a do. I say that about Nick Cannon too. Y'all are kings. You deserve what a king has because you can take care of. I ain't never not heard of you not taking care of what's yours, bro.
Okay. So Zaddy, thoughts on what David Banner just said right there? Anything you agree, disagree with, or both?
I honestly wasn't paying attention. I'm not gonna lie to you, but okay.
Okay. Uncle Tiger, what about for yourself?
I mean, I appreciate how he would prefer to hire his own people over others. And I think, you know, it should be okay in the other direction as well, but it's clearly not. Other than that, I mean, it just sounded like prattle. You know, the other thing, that the whole like Katrina thing, I think there were actually several rappers, Little Wayne being one of them. There were several people that you know, banded together and used their money to help the. I think if, let's say, there's 100 rappers who are worth $1 million or more, that would be the solution. That would be $1 billion solution to $1 billion problem. And there was nothing stopping any of them from doing that. So I don't know where he got that from, but yeah, that's my take.
All right. T Reason.
Yeah, he said a lot of my same sentiment. I mean, obviously he's gonna hire the most qualified person. You know what I mean? He's not coming from a place of, oh, I'm only gonna hire black people or I'm only gonna hire people of color. You know, he want to hire the best people for his company. He got a black owned business, so obviously it's black owned. So, you know, obviously it's a black business, but at the end of the day, he gonna hire who's qualified. And I think that's the outlook every company should have. Hire who's qualified. Don't just hire someone specifically based on the fact they're of this race. That's not a good enough reason, in my opinion.
Okay, Wicked, what about yourself?
So real quick, what I want to point out is the fact of he wants to hire qualified people no matter what, but he would prefer to have the black person over the white person if they were both qualified, kind of proving the point that I made in the last point where you said, prove it. I think that clip right there proved my point that I was making to you before. Now, whether he does or does not hire the white person is not the point. The point is that he rather hire the black person first over the white person. Clearly what he says is a black business. I'm going to look out for the black person first. That is power. That is prejudice. That proves my point.
Dang. Okay. Dane, how about for yourself?
I just want to say that, like, sometimes I'll be talking, I'll look down, I'll see where either you or Enosa Freshly has muted my mic. I understand the reason y'all do that, and I don't blame y'all. That's necessary, but it does hurt my feelings a little bit. But other than that, no, seriously. With this whole video with this guy, it's because I'll be talking to my chat, and he'll say something, and I'll say, man, that's true. What that dude's saying is true. And then he'll say something that's all whiny and emotional and feelings based and just wham, 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 like Zaddy down there. And I'll say, oh, that ain't about nothing. So I end up with 1 foot on the boat, 1 foot on the pier or whatever. But you know, that's just kind of where I come down to it. It's kind of a mixed bag. So that's where I'm at.
Freshly.
I agree that in his space and where you hold power, you can go with your preference. I will be the same. If I had a business, I'm going to look for people to look like me and are qualified. I'm not looking for people to look like me if they're not qualified, because at the end of the day, it's a business. Mm-hmm. I'm here to make money. So I agree with that sentiment.
Okay. Can I ask a question real quick?
Oh, sorry. Go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to be colonizing the podcast, but when you say people that look like me, I'm just curious what a value there is in that. Because me personally, if I had a business, I would strictly be looking for who is most qualified. I wouldn't care if they were fat, old, tall, waddling around with a gray. I wouldn't care about if they look like me. I'm just curious as to what value there was in if they look like me.
Dane, you make a valid point. Let me rephrase. What I said was not specific enough. When I say people that look like me, what I should have said is people who are culturally the same. People who I would be culturally comfortable around. Most of those people look like I do.
What do you mean, like culturally the same? I'm just curious because you and I have had some off-stream discussions.
Sure.
Yo, midnight black ass right now sitting there with a Bass Pro Shop cap on. Man, you and I are culturally so freaking close. So that's why I'm asking, like, what do you mean, like, culturally the same?
Well, yeah, same music, same experiences, same outlook on a lot of things. So it could be you, Dane. For sure, it could be you. But That's the extent of that. It could be you. I'm not saying you wouldn't qualify. I'm saying my preference would be for a black person from the same culture that I am, who looks and
Yeah,
thinks.
so freshly that you now that you say that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me ask you this. We have Dane and we have a black man who is exactly Dane, all else equal except he's black. Who are you hiring?
Black guy.
Okay. So it's okay if a white person does the same thing then, correct?
I mean, if it's their business.
Okay. All right.
So does that kind of like prove the point that I was trying to make before? That somebody was being treasonable about it?
Well, I don't know that. If I was T Reason, I would say that's prejudice plus power, which equals racism. So
Freshly.
Y'all about to open up a whole other can of worms, man.
Freshly.
And I'm trying to fade to black. Y'all about to open up a can of worms, man.
I appreciate you being honest about it. You and I would agree. I mean,
Listen, man, the discrimination is the thing. You have to prove in a lot of situations that you were more qualified. And to be honest with you, I just want to put this out there. I work in corporate America. This is not indictment of either perspective, but there's way more that goes into who to hire than what's on the page.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I've interviewed people. I've been interviewed. I've been a part of panels. There's way more that goes into it.
Commute.
Well, that's precisely what I mean.
Huh?
I said commute comes into it sometimes.
Yeah.
What I run into a lot of times, Freshly, if I can be completely honest, which if somebody thinks I shouldn't be completely honest, I don't care because I'm going to be. In my respect, when I'm looking at two people, this is just Dane in general, Big Daddy in general. And you and I have had similar conversations before. If I'm looking at two candidates and one black, one white, and they're both equal, I'm probably actually gonna say, well, I'm gonna hire the black guy myself because my own personal Dane as a character, I'm going to get along with the black guy more than I do the average white guy because of my history and my background and stuff. He's typically going to understand my humor, my way of communication.
Right.
When I jank him, when he shows up on Monday morning and I ask him, man, you didn't pay full price for that haircut, did you? He going to get the joke. The average white guy's going to get his feelings hurt. So I'm going to lean that way.
That's what I mean by culturally. So when Uncle Tiger asked the same guy, and let me clarify, Uncle Tiger, you meant entirely, right? Not just on paper, not just resume wise.
No, what I meant was all else equal.
Yeah.
You have the choice between Dane and a black guy who is exactly Dane. So you're going to pick the black guy.
Humor, like experience, what Dane just described is somebody who
culture, sense of humor, everything is equal.
To put it colloquially, we vibe.
Yeah, okay, but like Dane and Black Dane are the same person. It's just Dane is white and Black Dane is black.
Right now we have White Tiger and then we got Black Tiger right up in the middle. Just no mustache.
No, I am hiring Black Dane.
All right, case closed. Case closed.
I was never refuting. I'm just
saying. Does anybody take issue?
That's prejudice plus power. Then
hold on. Does anybody take issue with the fact that the racial element is being factored into the equation?
I don't take issue with it. I think it's totally fine.
If anybody does.
The thing is that
Vulcan,
people just aren't honest about it, or black people are honest about it, and white people aren't. Because
Vulcan, I would argue that it's not necessarily the racial factor as much as it is the cultural. My brother.
Well, I agree with that, but I'm just saying in Tiger's hypothetical, that the only thing that changed it would be the actual race at that point.
Yeah, well, I think
But
Tiger only made it into the race point because the point of what he was saying is I'm going to hire black people. I'm going to hire this. Now, I will hire a white person, but I'm going to choose a black
Yeah.
person over the white person is what I think
All
Tiger
else
was trying to
equal.
get at because the point of the clip was him choosing a black person over a white person. Now, Tiger is just saying, okay, all else is equal, everything. The only difference would be the skin color.
Yeah, so I'm asking everybody, does anybody take issue with the fact that the racial element was the tiebreaker?
I don't take issue with it.
Me personally, I think it would be because to me personally, your skin color means absolutely nothing to me. Your
Hold on, you
shoes
think
you're
it would be
wearing
I
what?
to
don't take
me,
issue with it. The thing is that people take issue with it when white people do it.
Okay,
It's
yeah. So I
okay
want
if
to get to
Freshly
that part
does it, but
too.
if I
And can
do
I
it, then
speak
it's
to
a
that?
problem.
Yeah.
Can I
That's
speak to
the
that a
issue.
little bit?
Tiger's pointing to be the same on both sides. I'm gonna get to that question second, but does anybody take issue with the tiebreaker being the racial element?
I
Speak
do.
now for everyone
I
with your
do in
opinion.
a sense
Okay,
because
so Dane
yeah,
does take issue with that.
I do a
I
little
used
bit.
to I used
No,
to drive
hold
a
on.
school
I heard
bus.
Dane say it. Who else said I do a little bit?
I do.
Wicked?
I do a little
Okay.
bit. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan. If you could do that in like 30 seconds or less, I appreciate it.
Not even. So like to me personally,
Oh.
your skin color means absolutely nothing. I can tell more about you from the shoes you're wearing than you are from the color of your skin. So to add
Right.
race into it, it really means nothing because it's either you're a good person or you're a shitty person.
No,
They make them in
Wicked,
all
I just want to make
sizes,
sure
all
we're on the
colors.
same page. Wicked. I'm saying that, and the Tiger gave a really good hypothetical here. You got
Uh-huh.
Black Dane, you got White Dane. They are identical personality, IQ, references, everything. The only difference is one guy's black, one guy's Scotch Irish.
I'm choosing Dane.
So I'm saying that in that scenario, do you take issue? He asked Freshly. Freshly said, I would pick the Black Dane over the White Dane. And I'm saying
Yeah,
that
essentially, if you're talking about all else being equal and the only thing is race, I believe at that point it's like a coin flip. It's not like you should race it down to just.
My point is that a coin flip,
Was
or is it? Do you take issue with him going with the racial as a tiebreaker?
I mean, I don't think it should be the tiebreaker, but he could choose whatever he wants. It's his own business. It's him.
But
It's
my
who
point is
he's
saying you
comfortable
don't-
with because you.
Hold on, real quick.
I just want to make sure we're on the same. I mean, we're using the same language because I think we're using different language, and I just want to make sure if we can get the language the same, then I'll know for sure you're answering my question. Do you see any issue with it at all? With the tiebreaker being the racial thing? You're on mute.
Okay, so I would say if it's only based on race, yes. If you're just picking them because you want to pick that person and that's who you're more comfortable with, I have no issue with that.
If the race is the thing that's making you more comfortable, do you take issue with it? I'm gonna keep on changing my language to match what you're saying.
Wicked, you're doing to Uncle Tiger's hypothetical, which was very well explained, the same thing T Reason did to yours.
So maybe I'm not understanding it then. Let me.
What I'm saying is this right here. Tiger gave a really good hypothetical. He said that if Freshly's hiring somebody and he's got Scotch Irish Dane, which is the Dane before us today, and then there's a literally the same Dane, but he's black. You see what I'm saying? They're identical in every single way. IQ, references, resume, experience, everything. The only difference is one is black, one is Scotch Irish. Freshly says if everything's equal, except for their race, I'm gonna pick the Black Dane over the White Dane. I'm asking
with everything being equal, that's his choice. He can do whatever he wants with everything being equal.
So if you're saying that you wouldn't take issue with that at all, got you. Okay.
Yeah, as long as everything is equal and it's
Yeah.
just his preference at that point, then I don't care because your preference is your preference. It's your preference.
Okay, got you. And I know Tiger, correct me if I'm wrong, Tiger, but you're saying that you don't take issue with that at all as long as people are not going to have a double standard about it.
Right.
Okay. And now, Zaddy, do you take issue with that at all?
No. I don't know. No.
Okay. T Reason.
Yeah, I want to give my criteria for hiring. So
before you get your criteria, I just want to make sure you understand the question. Tiger asked Freshly, you got a Black Dane and a White Dane, and they're both equal in every way.
Same scenario, yeah.
Yeah.
My criteria is different.
Would you take issue? Would you take issue with Freshly as an employer choosing the Black Dane because he's black?
So my criteria is different, and I think that's more important to me.
How would you feel if you hadn't had breakfast this morning, T Reason?
So what I'm saying is in that same scenario, if I got a Black Dane and a White Dane, I'm gonna hire the least represented in my industry. So if I have, let's say, in my industry is predominantly white, I'm gonna hire a black person. If my industry is predominantly black, I'm gonna hire a white person. My criteria is more so to make sure the demographics are well represented. So most of the time, that's gonna favor the black person because in most industries they're gonna be the least represented. So I'm gonna hire that person. So
Can
that's
I ask a question? I have a question. If I can ask a question.
Like you hadn't had breakfast.
The reason.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. So in the scenario that was given, would you take any issue with that or no?
It depends if it can lead to something deeper. Like if it can lead to.
But we won't know that at the time of hiring, though. That's the only thing. We only know what we know.
You might know it's something that's happening in your industry, like what American Airlines is trying to do.
Okay, okay. You're saying if there's a reason, okay, got you. Okay, cool. And then Dane, for you, would you take issue with the black Dane getting hired over you?
Well, I'm not sure about that question, but my question would be like with T Reason when he says, well, if it's in my market, that if it's majority white, I would hire the black. If it was majority black, I would hire the white. I'm really interested in as to what the objectively moral argument would be to support that instead of a business's job. The job of a business is to make a profit and to grow itself. It's not to get involved in social sort of a causes.
I don't think you understood the question. Then.
So my question would be, why wouldn't I look at the business and the employee or the applicant and say the best applicant for the health of the business and the growth of the business would be this person, whether they're black, white, Indian, whatever they are, and hiring that person.
Dane, just to make sure I'm not contradicting you here. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page about the question. In this scenario, you got black Dane and you got white Dane. They're literally identical in every way except for their racial ancestry.
This is not rocket science, and you got the question wrong.
I want to say, if that's the case, if they're absolutely identical, meaning their personality,
IQ, everything.
There's only one Dane, guys. He's right there. There's only one of us. So
obviously, in his mind, there's two different ones.
I hope there's only one Dane because the universe can't handle more than one dose of this much glory.
Well, you got great Danes, you got mid-tier Danes, you got all kind of Danes out there. Come on now, y'all.
So it's more than one Dane. But no, if it's just a matter of this Dane who has a narrow nose, narrow lips, fair skin, relatively straight hair, whatever, puts raisins in their potato salad, which doesn't happen. If there's that guy versus black Dane over here with a wider nose, curlier hair, darker skin, I don't see where there's even a question. But if we're looking at a difference in the stereotypical personalities of both, I would probably hire black Dane because I would connect and have more fun and more smoothly work with black Dane than I would white Dane.
Together. So you wouldn't even hire yourself. So you walk into your own company and you don't hire yourself?
T Reason. Come to Mobile, Alabama. Let's hang out. You'll find out that you and I, our culture and personality is a lot more the same than you would even think, brother.
Fair enough. I just think you should want to hire yourself, though, too.
No, sir. You know? No, sir. I don't give a damn. Because my thing would be, what's that part? How are they going to fit in with the office? How are they going to fit in with the other workers?
Real quick. The last question on this topic will be just going into what Uncle Tiger said, which is the double standard part of it. So I want to ask the same question back and forth. Well, I mean, I'm just going to state it this way. So only people that will speak is somebody who wants to argue this point. Uncle Tiger's point is this: it goes both ways. If, as a black person can say they would, for whatever the reason, prefer blacks at some point in time in the hiring process, whether the beginning, the middle, or the end, right? He's saying that there shouldn't be any issue with the white person wanting to hire the white person at the beginning, middle, or the end either. Does anybody disagree with that?
I'm trying to express my issue with my
that
hiring process. So basically, my hiring process would be the least represented group will get the position. If all other things are the same, if they're able to do the job the same, if they perform the same, the business need is going to be met under both. I'm gonna go with the least represented, whether that's black,
yeah, you
Indian,
made that clear.
Whatever the case may be. So that's my only difference. I'm not gonna say, well, they're white, I'm white, let me hire the white person. I'm black, they're black, let me hire the black person. What I'm gonna say is, what's the least represented demographic in my industry? They're on the same scale.
Okay, but I guess I'm trying to figure out from you, do you agree with Tiger or not?
I disagree. I don't agree.
Do you agree with Freshly? Do you agree with Freshly or not?
To an extent, yes.
You do disagree. Okay. And so, Zaddy, do you agree with Tiger that it should go both ways, or it should go neither way? Zaddy, you there? Okay.
What? Wait, I'm sorry. What happened?
I was saying, do you agree with Tiger? Tiger says that if black people can prefer blacks in hiring, then whites, it should be okay for whites to do the same thing.
Man, how you want to hire? That's at the end of the day, whatever. Who cares? That's how I feel.
Okay. Can't tell. I couldn't tell. I couldn't make out if he was agreeing or disagreeing.
Actually, we care. That's why we're asking the question.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're asking me my opinion, I'm saying I don't care how he want to hire.
Now you said I don't care.
I just said I don't care the first time.
No, it's saying, do you?
So hey, listen, whoever's gonna make your business pop, whoever's gonna make your business work, go with that guy. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, if you feel like that black person is gonna get you, go with them. You feel that white guy's gonna get you, white woman's gonna get you, go with them. Or
so the hypothetical is everything's the same.
I don't want to say that because
the hypothetical is everything is the same other than their race.
Yeah. Yeah, are you saying you agree with Tiger?
Everything is the same. They have the same degree.
I'm gonna throw a name in a bucket. I told you, man, God didn't put us here for that. So it is what it is. That's how I feel. 100%. It's not gonna change.
Oh, so you're saying that you shouldn't base it off race at all?
No. If they're exactly the same, if both candidates are gonna get the job done, and you feel like they're just neck and neck, throw them names in a bucket and pick one and say, who cares? That's all I would say.
And what's the issue?
Just flip a coin, right? Just flip a coin.
Just
flip a coin.
Roll the dice.
What's the problem with not doing it that way when everything's equal, choosing the race you prefer? What's your problem with that?
It's called racism.
Okay.
You have the power, just like Uncle Wicked said, you have the power to put them in a position and you're doing it. Like, no, don't do that. Like, that's called racism. Yeah, man. So you don't want it.
No. That's not. No. Hold on a second. That wouldn't be racism. That's preference. Racism.
Okay.
For it to be racist, you would have. That means for it to be racist, the white guy would have to be more qualified. Hold on a second. The white guy would have to be more qualified than the black guy, and you would have to choose the black guy because of your power. That would be racist. If you choose two people that are equally yoked, no matter what, everything is the same, and the only difference is the skin color. That's a preference.
True that.
Okay, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Anybody disagree with that?
Of race?
Anybody
right?
agree?
You're choosing off of race, right? Right, you're choosing off of race?
No, he's choosing off of qualifications.
Anyway,
you're choosing off of qualifications.
I could be wrong. Not the first time, right?
Probably won't be the last.
But hey.
Yeah, I mean, I think in that situation, because the deciding factor might have been race, that it would be easy to say, well, that's racism. But if both candidates are equally qualified to the nth degree, and then the question of the deciding factor would be someone who in Wicked's situation looks more like him, and he says, well, I'm going to hire this guy. The foundational difference would be their qualifications. Now, if you're looking at someone who's foundationally unqualified, but you hire him because he looks like Wicked, why you would, I don't know, because I don't see where Wicked's anything really pleasurable to look at. But if you chose that, well, then you could see, well, that's racist. He hired him because he's a white guy. But to say he hired him because he's equally qualified and he's a white guy, I don't see where that's a racist decision.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying, Wicked?
Yes.
Zaddy, you got something on that? You seem to be in the minority on this one. I don't know if his audio is still working or not.
Where'd T Reason go while I was in the men's room? Did he leave while I was in the men's room?
Well, I guess at this point right here, I think we kind of covered that. I don't know if Zaddy still can hear us or not. But yeah, so I think that was a good conversation. We talked about the double standard part of it, and we also talked about if all things been equal. We had a comment pop up. Logical Menace After Dark says David Banner lost his train of thought mid convo, started complimenting dude on creating broken homes. White folks have been saying they hire the best and the brightest all the time. It's usually not the black person. Truth hurts.
Well, that is true.
Excuse me, it's not that it's usually not the black person. It's just a problem when it's not a black person chosen. Hypothetically, it proved your point, Wicked. Commute comes into it sometimes. What else? Vulcan, you've been quiet. All things being equal, I'm going with who I vibe with more. We're the funny. Do we share the same interests? Are our background or upbringing is the same, etc.? I like checks mixed, fellas.
I would agree.
Uncle Tiger, how would you feel if you didn't have breakfast this morning? T Reason, black. Okay, you guys, only for tonight. Define the word hypothetical and use it in a sentence. So T Reason is down with tokenism or DI. Why is there a picture of Vulcan behind Dane? LOL, that's hilarious. I'm the conscious. I'm on one side of this conscious right there. We gotta have the
because I want to be like Vulcan. He's my big daddy.
All right, well, yeah. We had a good show for the night, man. Thanks. We had some fun. This was.
It ain't over, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty much over, man. We wrapping it up. I think.
Where'd T Reason and Zaddy go?
So let's close it out. Closing comments. 30 seconds or less. Tiger, it's on you first.
Oh yeah, man. I think I'll let the actual exchanges speak for themselves. I think this was a good fun spirited conversation. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys having me. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Cool,
Tiger's just glad he's been had by somebody.
Wicked, how about yourself?
I just want to say good show. I also want T Reason to go look up what the purpose of a hypothetical is, because we all know that he does not know what the purpose of them are. So maybe on the next show he can come back with actually knowing what it is about to test his logic. But other than that, I think we had a pretty good show.
Cool. All right, Dane.
I still hadn't heard where Zaddy and T Reason went. What happened to them? I went to the men's room and I come back and they're gone. They didn't want to hang around if I wasn't here. What's up?
Fucking shit now. Yeah, here we go. Let me back in.
There's Zaddy. Hey, man, I just want to. Okay, cool.
Kicked us out trying to be. Let it go. You right. You man.
Where T Reason go? Where T Reason at?
T Reason had to go. He said in the comments he had to go. But I didn't.
Oh, I didn't know, man. I was in the men's room, man. I was leaking my lizard. My bad.
You got Dane?
Yeah. I just want to say, as always, I enjoy the show. I wish that some people, Zaddy, was a lot more interested in logic and empiricism, that sort of stuff. But if, some people want to rely on emotionalism and scorn and peer pressure and shame and insults, okay, whatever. At any rate, I appreciate y'all having me. I'm glad y'all back streaming, man, because, I had a nightmare a few nights ago where, I was in an unfinished Walmart, man, and I'm walking around. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? And I found T Reason, man, and he come walking over to me with a cardboard cutout of Nipsey Hussle. And he come over to me and he was trying to tell me how fine, what a fine fella Nipsey Hussle was. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing here in this unfinished Walmart, man? I mean, this is weird. And he was like, man, let me tell you about Nipsey Hussle, man. He was great. And then there were some guys over there with some jackhammers, and then they were like, what are y'all doing in here in this Walmart? It ain't open for business. We're still building it. And then I was like, man, I don't know what I'm doing in here, but here's T Reason. And T Reason had this cardboard cutout of Nipsey Hussle. And he was like, let me tell you about Nipsey Hussle. And I was like, get away from me, T Reason. And I'm trying to get away from him. I couldn't find the exit because they were still building it. So I'm running around, and eventually I found the exit. And it was just really a crazy dream, man. I don't know. So I was glad to see T Reason again, because T Reason's a good fella. What I do like about T Reason, he's wrong. He's dead wrong. But I do believe that T Reason is 100% interested in what is true. So he's working through that logic. And so there's a chance in his logic that he can convince me that of a point where, like, one day I might say, you know, I ain't never thought about that before. You know, T Reason, he made a good point. We're talking hypothetically because everybody knows that ain't gonna happen, but it's possible because T Reason does seem to be wanting to like balance his views with the truth, and I appreciate that. I hate that he's gone now, but I had to go use the bathroom. I'm old. I'm on high blood pressure medicine, diabetes medicine,
we got
diuretics. But T Reason, love you. Dreams in Walmart that ain't even finished with Nipsey Hussle on a cardboard cutout, but more power for me.
We got I don't know what's going on right now, but Zaddy, we got you next. What's your closing?
So me, I couldn't hear.
Yeah, you're closing. We're just doing closing comments for the show. Whatever you got in 30 seconds to a minute. It was 30
I
seconds.
think he's muted. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I can't hear him.
You're my boy, Blue.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Can you hear Vulcan?
Can you hear me? If you can't hear me, somebody else. I mean, first,
I can't hear Vulcan.
Tell them what we're doing.
He's saying you're next up. What are your closing comments in a minute and a half or less?
Oh, okay, perfect. Listen, I want to give a shout out to my boy Wicked over here. I definitely got to give a shout out to Wicked because at 2:59, my boy Wicked tried to warn some people. I feel like he tried to warn some people. He said that Chud is building a strong case against himself. And he was right. Because I feel that good old Dane is just like Chud. And at 2:31, Dane said I was not like Chud. But this whole conversation, Dane has tried to get me to react to his feminism. And I have not. I have been just like, whatever. Is that not the same thing? Just throwing it out there. I know
Yeah, that
Freshman's
may be the
tuning
most
and getting mad
ignorant
at it. I
thing
know.
you've said all
But
night.
I'm going to speak my truth because I saw it. I don't know if y'all saw it. But
y'all just let him talk.
I think Wicked saw it. I'm going to sleep great tonight, not thinking about you at all. I haven't thought about you this whole pod. You were bringing up my name. But yes, that's my... Oh, wait. One more closing thought. Hey, listen, real quick. I got a question for you guys. This is a question for all 5 of y'all because what's name's gone. Hey, the Knicks won tonight, man. NBA Finals. Who y'all got? Spurs or OKC? Who y'all got?
Nobody cares.
Hey, you know where I'm from.
What? Nobody. Time out. They said nobody cares. Everybody cares. Spurs,
Dane only
OKC.
cares about stoicism, okay? He doesn't care about sports. He's married, and he don't read comic books or watch comic book movies, okay?
Okay, I get it then.
Me too.
Who the rest of y'all got? OKC or San Antonio?
Anything else you guys, Daddy?
The world cares.
Well,
shit. I can't, Tiger. I can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Tiger.
Okay, I don't think Zaddy can hear me. So as Zaddy's done, let's go ahead and go to Fresh to next.
Yeah, one last thing, and I'll get out of here. Dane, stop being so much like Chud the Builder. How dare you?
Uncle Tiger. Uncle Tiger. Look, Tiger. The more I encounter brothers like Zaddy, the more I want to tear off my big toenail.
All right, Freshly, it's on you, man.
You ready for me?
Yes, sir.
All right. We got to stop debating how we feel on this Vulcan Soapbox podcast. Okay. We are using logic and reasoning. It's an actual science. It exists outside of how you feel. This is for the greater audience as well. In your logical arguments and debates, please void yourself of the emotion behind how you feel about it and just stick to facts and science. It'll be a much more productive conversation. And I wish we'd get there. Those are the conversations I want to be a part of. I enjoyed this particular show. Glad y'all came out. Vulcan, it's on you.
All right, Enos, I'm gonna read these comments and you can take us out. I don't know if you can hear me. So Logical Menace says 30 seconds or less, Zaddy. Why can't you people be on time? Sheesh. I don't care about sports either.
He's like, what Logical Menace After Dark is wilding.
All right, Vulcan Soapbox out.
Meow.
Maybe I can talk to him. We can close it out.
No.